Blessed Lord, my Lord and Empress. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress Council of Elders program. Today is Sunday, July 5th, 2026, on mortality from an African perspective. My Lord and Empress. Honorable Priest.
Majesty bless. Call for virtual reverence in the virtual courts of
Reverence,
Rastafari.
reverence, 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 for we.
Hark the voice of Negus calling, who will come and work for God today. Fields are ripe and harvest gleaning, who will bear Jah sheaves away. Loud and strong our master calleth, rich rewards he offers thee. Who will answer gladly saying, here am I, send me, send me. If you cannot give your thousands, you can give the widow's mite. For the least you do for Rastafari is precious in his sight. Holy Emmanuel, last year, Jah,
Yeah, yeah.
Rastafari. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for us, brethren and sisters, to dwell together in unity and love. It's like precious ointment upon our head that went here and Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garments. As the dew of Hermon, as the dew that is sent upon the mountain of Zion. From with the Lord commanded his majesty blessings, even life and love forevermore. So hail our God, Selassie, Jehovah God, Rastafari. Our Almighty God, Rastafari, great and terrible God, Rastafari is the Almighty God. Jah, who seated in Zion and reign in the hearts of all flesh, how thou most high eternal Father, Jehovah God, Rastafari, hear us and bless us, O Lord, keep and sanctify us all, and cause thy holy face to shine upon us, thy children, that we shall be saved and healed. O thou most high God, Jah,
Right.
Rastafari. Let none hear you idly say, there is nothing I can do, while the souls of men are dying and the Master calls for you. Take the task Jah give you gladly, let Jah work our pleasure be. Answer quickly when he call it. Here am I, send me, send me. I and I, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Blessed love, my Lord and Empress, give thanks for another day of reasoning, fellowshipping one to another. Give thanks for the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress and the Church of True Divine Salvation. Give thanks for the Elder Council who come and sit up in a right, in a moral and ethical manner, to bring all things to our right and to foster the meditation of unity. At this moment, we'd like to call on the Honorable Priest Sevens, the man with the golden voice, to bless us with a chorus. Honorable Priest, my Lord.
My Lord and Empress, give thanks and glorify. Thanks for the day of reasoning, and give thanks to everyone that is here. Zion awake and trim your lamb, Selassie, Jah,
Jah,
Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Aya Adoni, Yahweh, Zion awake, Rastafari awake and trim your lamp. Aya Adoni, Yahweh, Zion awake, Rastafari awake and trim your lamp. For the stars from Zion shall fall, and the moon shall turn into blood, and the Son of Man shall appear. O Zion awake, Hayaratoni Yahweh, Zion awake, Rastafari awake and trim your lamp. Hayaratoni Yahweh, Zion awake, Rastafari awake and trim your lamp. For the stars from Zion shall fall, and the moon shall turn into blood, and the Son of Man shall appear. O Zion away, Jesus Adonai away, Zion away, Rastafari away, can trim your land. Ayar Adonai away, Zion away, Rastafari awaken, trim your lamp. For the stars from Zion shall fall, and the moon shall turn into blood. And the Son of Man shall appear. O Zion away, waking Holy Mount Zion, 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 Lord, Holy Mount Zion, Zion. Africa awaits its creators, high and I,
And I,
Selassie,
that's right. Yeah.
Jah,
Rastafari.
Rastafari. My Lord and Empress, blessed Lord.
Honorable praise, give thanks for the golden voice. Like you drink an extra spoon of honey this morning, my lord.
True, man. Like I say.
Honorable Priest
True.
Nappy, you can bless us with a welcoming word.
Thanks, 3-7s. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yes, my
Welcome.
Lord and Majesty, welcome again. Give thanks, first of all, under Priest 7 for that nice chorus and a beautiful chorus. I always do a nice chorus, my Lord. So give thanks
Yes.
for that.
My Lord.
Yes, and give thanks for the family once more, Give thanks for health and strength continually. Give thanks for being here. Give thanks for reasoning, We say we come here, we don't come to argue. We come to discuss. Argument determine who is right, and discussion determine what is right.
What is right, my
And
lord?
we come here to find out what is right, not who is right.
My
So
Lord.
give thanks, to come with that open heart. Like the man say, our heart door open towards I Jerusalem, Give thanks, come with the heart and love and make a reason as family. And when we leave here, we get a more clearer understanding of what I come here to reason on. So give thanks, my Lord and Majesty, for this, Most High King Selassie, Jah,
Rastafari.
Rastafari, my Lord
Oh,
and Majesty, give thanks.
Majesty bless us. And we ask Honorable Royal Secretary for the roll call for this month period of reasoning.
Blessed love, my Lord and Empress. Give thanks.
Honorable Royal
Give-
Tech.
Give thanks for this new day. Give thanks for life and the mighty life. Give life giver. Most High Selassie.
Rastafari.
Jah,
Rastafari.
Rastafari. My Lord and Empress. Today,
Majesty.
Sunday, July 5th, 2026, the roll call for the EABIC Council of Elders. Those present. Honorable Priest Ainsley,
Majesty bless.
Honorable Priest Rasavana,
Present family.
Honorable Priest Nappy,
Yes, I, there.
Honorable Priest Earl, Honorable Priest 7,
Bless the Lord.
Honorable Priest Adigan, I think he stepped away. Honorable Leading Empress Miriam,
Honorable bless. Give thanks.
Honorable Empress Akim,
Blessed love, royal family.
and myself, Honorable Empress Trisha. Give thanks for all who is here. Let the records reflect at the beginning of today's roll call, 9 members were present with more to come. Today's reasoning is on mortality from an African perspective, a community conversation exploring life, legacy, and remembrance. Please remember to beat the heat stress awareness, stay hydrated, and drink more water, coconut water, whatever fruit water, whatever that you may have your bottle next to you so that you can remain hydrated, your fruits next to you so that you can also keep hydrated. We ask once to please be reminded to get your pen, pad, books ready to write any information, any questions, any concerns that you may have at the end of the program so that you can ask the questions and they can be answered. We are also live streaming on the EABIC Council of Elders YouTube channel. For those members who are online right now listening to I&I, we say welcome, welcome. You can also put your responses, your questions in the chat, and periodically we will be checking the chat. So we also ask that you subscribe, like, and share. My Lord and Empress, blessed.
Majesty bless.
Moving right into today's inspiration. Today's inspiration is going to be a little different. It comes from the Feta Negas. Not sure if one can see the book, but it comes from the Feta Negas, The Law of the Kings, by His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. Chapter 22, on the dead. Continue on reading. In the church you shall gather without laziness to read the holy books and to say psalms for those who are asleep, such as the martyrs and the former saints, and for your brethren who are asleep and were believers in our Lord. Offer for them in your church the prayer of sacrifice, which is holy body and his precious blood, to the kings of heaven. Offer it to say farewell to the one who sleeps. Pray for the one who is asleep by walking before his bier and saying psalms. If he was faithful to Christ, the prophet David has said, quote, precious before the Lord is the death of his saints. He also said, turn, O my soul, unto thy rest, for the Lord has been bountiful to thee. Those who believe in the Lord do not die, as we said by the Lord to the Sadducees. Therefore, the bones of those who are living in the Lord are not despised or defiled, because the prophet Elias, after his death, made the dead man killed by the Syrian soldiers rise. When the body of the dead man touched the bones of Elias, he came back to life and rose. This happened because the body of Elias was saintly and pure. Joseph, the wise, also embraced the body of Jacob, his father, on the bed after he died. Similarly, Moses and Joshua brought with them the body of Joseph, and it was not considered as a sin on their part. And I'll move to the end. One shall not feel annoyed at burying the dead, but shall give compensation to the grave diggers. The latter shall keep that place carefully. The bishop shall supply their need from what is offered to the church. We must not be sorry for those who are asleep, as we are people who have no hope. For the sorrow that is for God's sake yields to us the penance of life. But the sorrow that is for the world earns death. As for the priest, if one of his relatives dies, he shall not feel sorry for him, as other people do, nor shall he tear his clothing, nor weep endlessly, nor uproot his hair. But thinking of the everlasting life, he shall thank God and be patient in his tribulation, like Job the just. My Lord and Empress, hence the reading of the inspiration from the Feta Negas on the dead. So
Empress, what a
Bless.
mighty reading. I would really love if you could take a picture of that and send it for me. What a mighty reading.
And there is more to it, but because of time, I didn't read
Yeah.
it. It does go into
Yes.
how, yes, individually how things are done. So I
Yes,
do
Empress.
thanks. As we move along, right into the EABIC Council of Elders and the Woman Freedom Liberation League, promote preventative medical care. An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. Today's Health Corner is on stroke. Medically, a stroke or cerebrovascular accident occurs when the body supply to the part of the brain is interrupted or reduced. This deprives brain tissues of oxygen and nutrients, causing brain cells to die within minutes. It is a time-sensitive medical emergency that requires immediate treatment to prevent lasting damage. According to the Mayo Clinic, strokes are primarily categorized into two main types, along with one temporary warning sign. The ischemic stroke. This is the most common type, accounting for the vast majority of cases. It happens when a blood clot blocks or narrows an artery leading to the brain. The hemorrhagic stroke. Hemorrhagic stroke. This occurs when a weakened blood vessel leaks or ruptures in the brain, causing bleeding that puts damaging pressure on brain tissue. Transient ischemic attack, the TIA, often called a mini stroke. This is a temporary blockage of blood flow. Symptoms usually last a few minutes and resolve without permanent damage, but a TIA is a strong warning sign of a future full stroke. The effects of a stroke depend entirely on the affected area of the brain and the extent of the damage. Common symptoms develop suddenly and can include facial drooping, arm weakness, slurred or confused speech, and sudden loss of balance or vision. Preventing a stroke primarily involves managing underlying medical conditions and making heart-healthy lifestyle choices. Key steps include keeping blood pressure under control, quitting smoking, eating a balanced diet, exercising regularly, and limiting alcohol. Up to 80% to 90% of strokes are preventable. The most effective prevention strategies include control blood pressure. The number one modifiable risk factor is high blood pressure. Aim for an ideal reading of less than 130 over 80 mmHg through diet, exercise, and medication if prescribed by your doctor. 2, eat a heart-healthy diet. Focus on diets rich in fresh fruits, vegetables, beans, and whole grains while avoiding saturated fats, trans fats, and excess cholesterol. 3, exercise regularly. Engage in at least 2.5 hours, that's 150 minutes, of moderate intensity aerobic activity each week, such as brisk walking. 4, don't smoke. Quitting cigarettes drastically reduces your risk of stroke, as smoking thickens the blood and accelerates plaque buildup. Manage medical conditions. Work with your doctor to control diabetes, keep cholesterol levels in check, and properly treat irregular heartbeats like atrial fibrillation. The AFib. Limit alcohol usage. Reduce consumption to no more than 1 drink per day for women and 2 per day for men to prevent spikes in blood pressure. Being overweight also increases your risk of heart disease. Today's medical disclaimer: I am not a doctor. The advice or information being shared in any form, text, audio, video, etc., is intended for general knowledge. If you believe you have a specific medical condition, we strongly recommend you to seek a qualified healthcare worker for a personal evaluation. My Lord and Empress, we do give thanks.
Majesty bless, Honorable Empress. And a point of note, you see what they say? We quoted according to the Mayo Clinic. And the Mayo Clinic supposed to be a leading clinic in the world. And the head, my Lord, is Priest Brown. Priest Brown is the head physician in the Mayo Clinic. A Bobo Priest. So, Jabrik, yes, Jabrik barriers. Anytime we mention Mayo Clinic, we must feel proud to know, say, one of us is running that clinic, my Lord and Empress. And we continue. Life is for living and loving. To truly understand mortality, we need to take a look at the forest or jungle. It is the incubator of Mother Nature. In the untampered naturalness of the Congo Basin rainforest, which is the second largest rainforest in the world, the cycle of life is clear. The Congo Basin is known as the lungs of Africa because its green foliage recycles the carbon dioxide into life-sustaining oxygen. The cycle of life is to be born, reproduce, and die. The chain of life, or the food chain, sequences every insect, animal, bird, fish, mammal. All creatures have a predator and a life cycle, meaning all living organisms survive by consuming each other. The strongest, fittest creature is at the top of the chain. That is the law of nature. In the Congo Basin rainforest, the elephant is the emperor, while the lion is the king. But they all succumb to the biological fallibility of all living organisms, death. There is a belief that humans, in achieving divinity through consciousness, life can be eternal. In plain terms, that man in their human form can live forever. This idea is motivated by the fear of death and a desire to continue enjoying the sweetness of life. The information and data provided today will explain from a scientific point of view why this is not possible. Understanding the afterlife and how to prepare for it is a much more valuable knowledge. Let the exploration of truth uncover the facts of life as we continue. Blessed, my Lord and Empress. Honorable Empress Diane, is she here?
Human mortality. Biologically, humans are entirely mortal. Our cells naturally degrade, and there appears to be a natural maximum lifespan limit of roughly 125 years. While true biological immortality remains out of reach today, science and technology are rapidly pushing the boundaries of longevity and life extension. Here is how the concepts of aging and living forever break down. Biological limits. Humans are not biologically immortal. As we age, our cells divide, accumulating damage and errors over time, which eventually leads to the failure of bodily systems and age-related diseases. Insane curiosity, the longevity limit. Leading demographers suggests the absolute natural limit of human life is around 122 to 125 years. While average life expectancies have increased, the maximum recorded lifespan has not significantly changed. Scientific advancements. Researchers are working to slow the aging process at the cellular level using interventions like senolytics and epigenetics reprogramming. The goal of this longevity research is not necessarily to make humans live forever, but to extend health span, the number of years we live free from chronic diseases. Futuristic possibilities. Some futurists speculate that in the distant future, humans might achieve immortality by migrating their consciousness into artificial bodies or uploading their brains into computers, transcending biological limitations entirely. To be continued. Life expectancy, Honorable Empress Hakim.
Blessed love. Life expectancy. All right. Life expectancy at birth versus later ages. Life expectancy is most commonly calculated at birth, but it can be recalculated at any age. For example, if a person survives childhood, their remaining life expectancy increases because they have already outlived risks associated with early mortality. According to the World Health Organization, how it is calculated. Demographies create the life tables using current age and sex-specific death rates. It assumes that current mortality conditions will remain constant throughout a newborn's or group's lifetime. The influencing factors. National and regional averages vary widely and depend on factors such as local healthcare access, diet, income, education, and living conditions. Life expectancy versus lifespan. Life expectancy is the statistical average length of life for a population, while lifespan refers to the maximum potential age a human can reach, biologically roughly 120 years. Why death from a biological point of view? 1, genetic program lifespan, aging senescence, limited cell divisions, DNA damage, telomere shortening, oxidation stress, leading to aging. 2, cell and organ failure, injury, disease, old age, weakened organs and systems. 3, disease and external causes, infections, trauma, poisoning, or genetic disorders disrupt critical functions such as accidents. Brain death, irreversible, loss of brain activity, clinical death. 5, role in ecosystem and evolution, nutrient recycling, natural selection equals population control. Biologically, human cells inherently age and die, placing a fixed natural limit on our lifespan of about 125 years. While radical life extension is not currently possible, cutting-edge science explores stopping aging at the cellular level, while futurists theorize about eventually uploading minds to computers. The fundamental barrier to human immortality lies in senescence, the biological process of aging. As humans age, cells lose their ability to divide, the Hayflick limit, and DNA sustains damage. This degeneration leads to diseases like cancer and heart disease, fundamentally limiting maximum health lifespans to roughly 125 years. While biologically immortality has been observed in nature, such as in the Turritopsis, Doran jellyfish, human genetics and cellular structures are not built this way. Current breakthroughs in longevity research focus heavily on extending a person's health span, the number of healthy years lived, rather than achieving true immortality. The concept of living forever typically falls into a few distinct pathways. Biological rejuvenation. Scientists are researching ways to reverse cellular aging through epigenetic reprogramming and senolytics, though radical human life extension remains purely theoretical. Technological immortality. Futurists and technologists speculate about merging human consciousness with artificial intelligence to upload brains into computers or robotic avatars, sidestepping the physical body's mortality. Cryonics. Companies like the Cryo-Rust facility offer services to freeze deceased bodies or brains, hoping future technology might eventually revive them. However, the scientific community widely views revival from cryopreservation as impossible with current technology.
Empress Diane.
Blessed love.
Blessed love, my Lord and Empress. Reincarnation.
Empress, go back to hold on one moment, Empress. Go back to the yes. Just go through the whole fullness there. Reincarnation. Define it there, Empress. It's showing you in the graph.
Rebirth.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Reincarnation.
It's rebirth, birth, death. It's a cycle.
You hearing me properly?
You're breaking up, Empress.
Reincarnation is the philosophical or religious concept that the non-material essence of a living being, such as a soul or consciousness, begins a new life in a different physical form or body after biological death. It is also frequently referred to as rebirth or transmigration. Key concepts and belief systems: Indian religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. Reincarnation is a central tenet in these traditions, where it is known as samsara. It is deeply intertwined with karma, the universal law of cause and effect. One's actions in this life determine the quality of their next existence. In Hinduism, the eternal soul, Atman, continues this cycle until it achieves spiritual liberation, moksha. In Buddhism, however, does not believe in an unchanging soul, but rather the transmigration of conscious energy and karma until enlightenment, nirvana, is reached. Western and esoteric traditions. The concept is also appeared in ancient Greek philosophy. Example, among Pythagoras, Socrates, and Plato, as metapsychosis, mystical branches of Abrahamic faiths like Kabbalah in Judaism include the belief in Gilgal, Neheshmat, recycling of souls, to fulfill spiritual corrections across multiple lifetimes. Modern perspectives and research, anecdotal reports. Many individuals and cultures report vivid memories of past lives. Researchers like the late Dr. Ivan Stevenson at the University of Virginia spent decades studying and documenting thousands of cases of young children claiming to remember details of past lives that could not have been known through ordinary means. Philosophical and metaphorical uses. Beyond religion, the term is frequently used in a secular or metaphorical sense to describe something that has returned in a new or different form, such as revived artistic trend or a new concept based on an older idea. To be continued.
That's a love. Yeah, the epilogue. The quest for a black Christ was the caption on that picture. Ancestral worship has been a practice in Africa from antiquity. Africans understood from an early time that the human realm is only temporary. Life or the spirit of man is eternal and exists on a higher plane. The quality of man's life on earth, whether they live to the divine laws of creation or to the base existence of their creature instincts, qualifies each person for their position in the afterlife or next level of existence. In other words, Karma is a quantification of elevation in life's eternal existence. To disrespect the body after life vacates it is sacrilegious in ancient African cultures. Not because the spirit has departed should the body be treated with disrespect. The Egyptians understood this and prepared for the inevitable. They mastered mummification so the body could be buried and the sanctity of honor be preserved. The narrative of let the dead bury the dead is a metaphor, meaning let those who are wicked take care of their own. Knowledge and truth must be the guiding light of all our actions. It is the duty of every generation to assess the information and the traditional practices they inherited to make sure they are correct and improve them if necessary. To continue a practice that has no benefits or was misunderstood or was prac- practical at a time but is no longer relevant is harmful. Let me read that from the top here. To continue a practice that has no benefits or was misunderstood or was practical at a time but is no longer relevant is harmful. The scripture says Christ touched the dead and life returned. Haile Selassie I in the Feta Negas mandated that we must perform a ceremony to send our loved ones on their journey to the ancestors. Blessed love, majesty.
My Lord, Majesty. You know, it's the first I heard of the feet and the gas. I think I looked through it, but it's the first I sit down and hear the words of His Majesty on the feet and the gas. And it is so plain to see. So as I and I as Bobo Shanti, I don't think enough of us privy to that information, you know. You know, sometimes it come like we not really, as according to Priest Adigan, we don't give the emperor a due air, you know. We don't give him a due air for what he said, and even Marcus Garvey. So it was very interesting, and I think that document, we should make a print up of that, my Lord and Empress, and circulate 4 Wings of Earth. Enough people talk about feet and the gods, and they never really read it. And the next part, with the prophet where him say, when I die, wrap me in the mantle of the red, black, and green. For in life, he could be a terror. I can't remember how he put it over, but in death he will be a terror. You know? So I think those two documents, my Lord and Empress.
How him say, my Lord, I predict him say, him says, him say, in life I shall be saved. If death has anybody count on me to be the real Marcus Garvey, in life I shall be the same, but in death I shall be a terror unto the world.
Yeah. All right. So I think, honorable brethren and sisters, I think we need to make a direct copy of that and said we run it and let it flood the world with that specific guidance. You know? I don't know what
And through the chair, brother,
Yes,
and through the
priest.
chair, quickly, just want to add to that. Because a lot of members of this Congress here, they are, you know, with no disrespect meant, but they are sheep. So if the shepherd don't say something, then don't really go by it.
Yes.
And no disrespect meant in what I just said, but it's the fact. Now, because of that, I want to add this to what the honorable chairman just said. Before the father transitioned family, we had asked the father these realities. could the selected utterances of Marcus Mosiah Garvey and the selected speeches of Haile Selassie I, the Kebra and the Feta be used on the altar, and that freedom was given. So we're not speaking of a book that is not within our midst, that was not endorsed by the Christ himself. We're speaking now we're reading excerpts from a book that was endorsed by our father, the Black Christ, King Emmanuel Charles Edward, for everyone's, knowledge. Give thanks, Father.
My Lord. So we can make that as a note. We did already get that clearance to say we are including the speeches of His Majesty and Marcus Garvey on the altar. Give thanks to hear the inclusion also of the feet and the gas. So definitely have to step to that as soon as possible before we see what's going on. Yes, Honorable.
And let's just give the clarity of what the name, just like how the Kebra mean, the Feta, Negas.
Law of the Kings.
Law of the Kings.
Rastafari, my Lord.
One is the glory of the kings, one is the law of the kings. So within the Feta Negas.
Also, one law also, it can, the Feta can also mean legacy as well.
My Lord.
Yeah, but we want to give them the definition for the name Feta Negas, the law of the king. So within that book, you find the laws that govern our secular world.
Yes.
Seeing? This is not remember now, these are very important additives, footnotes that that why Anna is really highlighting it. It is the law of the secular world. Remember now, Haile Selassie was the lawgiver. See,
yes,
we're not talking about the law of the church, our church principles, or our church liturgy. This is the law of our secular world coming from the kings, the line of kings that Haile Selassie I represents. Majesty bless.
My Lord. Yes. So I believe it's up for discussion now, Empress, or we have a video.
Open for discussion, my Lord.
Rastafari. Yes, my Lord and Empress. So the floor is open on such a can we see that's plaguing us right now? Can we see?
Honorable Chair, what is mortality, my Lord? What is mortality? Honorable Priest. What are we saying? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Mortality is shows a limited existence. Mortality means to say it's not forever.
Honorable Priest Nappy, are you with us? Honorable Priest Nappy, are you with us and available?
Yes,
Priest
Majesty, I am right here and available. You want me to do something, Majesty? Mortality?
Yes, my Lord. Define, give us the official definition of the word for us as usual, my Lord. Mortality.
All right. Just give me 1 second here, make I just.
Go ahead, my Lord.
Right here. And I can
yes, my Lord. Go ahead.
Request.
Continue, Priest. Honorable Chair, you can continue to give your expression.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. It defines a limit, a time. Can't get the word, but open to diseases, cuts and bruises and broken limbs, all this, and without losing our life. So mortality is to say a limited life, and immortality is an indefinite life. I don't know if that's what
simple. Yeah,
my Lord.
I like the simple. Go ahead, Priest now.
The item is here now. Give me
yes,
a second. I'll put it up and come back on the same way.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
my lad.
I like
Keep
that simple
talking a little
definition.
bit.
Yeah, man, I like that simple definition, Honorable Chair. Yeah. One has a limit and one is eternal.
Yeah.
See?
All right,
So,
all right.
go ahead, my lord.
So mortality refers to the state of being mortal, and it is in parentheses destined to die. In medicine, a term also used for death rate. So I must say, in medicine is a term also used for death rate, or the number of
Yes.
deaths in a certain group of people in a certain period of time. All right, and they said a mortal rate measures the number of deaths within a specific population, typically expressed as the number of deaths per 100,000 people per year. For example, if a city with a population of 40,000 people record 50 heart attacks, death rate in a single year, its mortality rate is 125 per 100,000. That's just an example. But
Yes, my
that
lord. Yeah,
is, I guess, yeah, mortality, you know?
give thanks.
Rastafari.
So everyone
Yeah.
have a clear understanding of what we are discussing. We are discussing, you know, the plane, like what the narrative said earlier. Can the human temple live forever? Just
Rastafari.
plain and straight. This is a plain and straight discussion.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
and what kind of limitations do we have and why do we have them? All of that was brought out in the narrative a while ago, and we will amplify throughout the reasoning here, Honorable Chair.
My lord. So the floor is open. Let's hear some perspectives from the honorable wise man and woman on this platform. My lord and empress.
Good Chair.
Honorable.
Yes, because some people think that they would live forever and they don't see the importance of living a balanced life. You know, they continue to do the things that will shorten their lifespan, actually, to shorten their lifespan, whether they're smoking cigars, they're drinking alcohol, you know, they're running their bodies down, you're working, what, 24,
Over.
20 hours a day. You know, you're just going, you're not resting well. You're getting only two, maybe 3 hours of rest. Correct. So, you know, some people think that they will be immortal, not figuring that at some point in life, the body slows down. And we know this because by the time you hit 35, 40 years of age, the knees begin to hurt, you move a little slower, and the older you get, you move more and more. That's why they say once a man, twice a child, because the body reverts backward, and then it's even dampen things when you not taking care of your body. You're not experiencing self-love and taking care of your human goodie, my Lord and Empress.
Yeah, give
Majesty
thanks.
bless. Also, a lot of it has to do with our exposure to the Christian world and their understanding of death and life. You know? So when I look into it to see how Rastafari rise up as a resistance movement, it come like everything what them say we will have said, nah, I'm not so it go. You know see? Because personally, I as a man really did think, say Rastafari, I will live forever. From me hold on to Rastafari and do good. Because of my experience as a youth growing up. You know, like enough church me went to with my church with my people them and enough funeral. And me always saying, but my mama don't want it dead. You know, see it. Yeah, it come personal with me. So I looked into Buddhism, I looked into Hinduism as a teenager. I looked into all these things, and then I come and hear about Rastafari. And Rastafari don't die. I took it literally. Yeah, I see. And was jaw to reality when my first son died at the hands of a bobo. So it was hard. It hard to digest that. And I didn't even go to his funeral. I was one of them kind of people. You see it? Yeah. But as the years go by and me looking into reality and me as an analytical person and me reason to myself plenty, I had to come to the conclusion. And then we see the Honorable King Emmanuel tried it. And me and our brethren had a conversation on that while Jah was yet alive. Never forget that Ibo say, so what am I gonna do when the man pass away, my lord? And we say, figure him gonna pass and say, yes, I am. And that was years before that went on. So I believe our Judo Christian teachment coming up never gave us a full understanding of the transition of a structure. Hence you see the crying and the thing and everybody, oh God, the God, that never gave us the full understanding. As Honorable Empress Miriam tell me, I think it's African concept or that they cry at the birth and rejoice at the transition. Because when you're born into a world of woe. But when you transcend, you trod into this other part where they say the
So
children
true.
coming from where
Yes.
where the elders are getting ready to go.
True.
So yeah, so I just
So
two little reading them I put, so we call for the Honorable Rest and Lord and Empress for that. Show us all the perspective of this thing what we say named death.
So, Honorable,
My
to the chair.
Lord,
Go
yeah,
ahead,
go
go
through,
ahead.
please.
All right, quickly, I won't hold you up. I was just going to add to this. What was it that made us come up with that philosophy of, because we quote one real part in the Bible that one's always quote, let the dead bury their dead.
Very
But
dead,
beyond
yeah.
that, what was the basis for us, you know, taking that type of stand? 'Cause we hear Peter Tosh sing it in him song. It was part of one of them big hit songs. We now go a them funeral. We now go. So it was a Rasta, all across the board, Rasta philosophy. It
Yes.
was not just a bubble thing or a bingy thing or whatever. It was a full Rastafari narrative, principle, belief. Can anyone identify what was the root reason for I and I choosing that type of philosophy? Blessed Lord.
I think it was the resistance movement how they come out as a resistance. And when you look into the world, how they glorify with the funeral, and that's why the brother could have come up and sing that music. We now go at them burial. That was so of the world, and we wanted to reject all the teachments of the world. So we say, oh, not dead from your praise God, you're not dead. That's the kind of reason I would have come up in myself, like, my Lord. But the floor is open.
Through the chair.
My Lord.
Oh,
Yeah. Can't tell the reason why I came up with that because I was of that same belief. All of that way you go through priest I read, me
Yeah.
fully understand. You know what I mean? I have to come to the reality. But when I read through the prophecy still, an idea looks a revelation time now. And revelation
Hey,
time's preparing you to go with your savior where you die no more.
Rastafari.
Right. So, true, we say we are living at the end time and the time when we know say we are going to leave from this place to the other land. And we know once we reach from the other land, whatever it is that is there, that can give you like everlasting life then per se. That is how we did first I look on, at least I know I did look on it. Say within a short period of time, redemption, movement from here, so where we are, to that pure divine place where life ever living. You know. So that is all the concept with take hold. You know, me I deal with I did think of a more shorter period of time. You know, that's soon to come.
Yeah.
That change is gonna take place.
Cause the lion and
No
Judah
more
them true.
no more sin.
Right.
Because you usually say sin cause death, but no more sin but life ever living. That is how we look on it, my lord.
My lord.
Life just
Is
don't
it there?
match up the way
Okay.
the majesty, you know.
Yes.
Go ahead, majesty.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Honorable Empress.
Priest
Majesty.
Adigan's hand has been up for a moment.
Yeah, Priest
Okay.
Adigan next.
Priest
Yes,
Adigan
my
and
Lord
then
and Majesty. Yeah.
my lord.
Yeah, not straying from it. Me chain of thought of what I'm saying. That illustration on the tier, the age is wrong. Metacilla was 969. I checked when I saw it first. I went and checked my scripture. Metaphilia 9. It's in Genesis somewhere. It's 9, so that's wrong. 969, not 65.
All right. Give
My
thanks,
Lord and
Honorable.
Empress. Anyway,
My lord.
continuing my chain of thought. Same thing. But as me get older, me say, but why Rasta think say them exclusive of this thing or that? Because all traditions and the Africans who I man reason with them say the Rasta man them is wrong. Because that is not part of African spirituality. I remember watching Flow saying the same thing, saying we got the part wrong. Even if we got the other parts right, we got that part wrong. Because why would we believe said we can't die? Because Baba Marcus from the Nyabingi house, he came and asked the question on Rastafari speaks. And I think pre-times you would have seen a lot of edits from Baba Marcus from the Rastafari speaks webpage. And Baba Marcus did an investigation about from when the emperor went, where is he, what would he be thinking, and all of these things. And I man look, and I man remember a brethren of mine, him not too long did come out of prison, and me and him buck up and we are reason. And the man say him can't die physically, literally. We said to him, so if me take a knife and juke you right now, you can't dead. The man say, no, him cannot dead. And I man always check myself, say, maybe once he's putting themselves into the emperor stead, because the emperor did disappear off the scene and no one know of a grave, even though them come and say the man tap out the time, man. Maybe Rastaman did think by the emperor living, them are going to live forever also, because him never drop structure and them coming at him instead. So them now go down just like priest Nappy just say. The Bible has indicated at the resurrection of Jesus, we will not see death now. In that same scripture, it says at Jesus' crucifixion, many were resurrected. Another question when Baruch did ask years ago about what they want the name? Lazarus. Lazarus was dead, stink, rotten. And Jesus rise him up. Lazarus come forth. Right? Now we ask the question, did Lazarus die again? You understand? Because Lazarus was brought back into mortality, he was brought into the living after a man rotten and stink, you know. Rotten and stink, and Lazarus.
Well,
when you go
remember,
to Mary
in the prophecy, it was just 4 days, eh? It was 4 days.
Who was 4 days?
It was 4 days since they did bury Lazarus. So him done start
Right.
what's that 4 days.
Right. So anyway, remember Jesus did go to Mary and Martha, and Mary was all right, but Martha and Jesus said to them, "Let's go live again, man." Through them know the story of him speaking of his crucifixion and who he right. Him say them. I think Martha and him say, "Yeah, we know. Him a go rise them time there, but if you did come earlier." Right?
Yeah.
Knowing the power you have, our brother won't did die. And him go say, him ask them if them believe. And then him go to the sepulchre and he met, but Muta was asking the question. That was thousands of years ago, since Lazarus was resurrected accordingly by Jesus. But yet,
We there
someone
now.
asked the question, did Lazarus die again? You
We there
understand? And
now.
these is the things what the Bible does with our heads, you understand? Because
Yes.
right, it's only two people in the biblical narrative I know. One did taste death and rise from it, but there's no two, Elijah and Enoch. These is the man me read about in the Bible that never apparently go into heaven without face the tomb or the grave, you know? I only read about, I think, Elijah and Enoch.
And Moses.
Yeah. Huh?
And Moses.
No, Moses was 120 and when them put him in a grave.
Nah, nobody never put Moses in grave. No one knows that he just went
Them
up.
said
Them
no
said that
one
no one
knows
know
where
him in
Moses.
grave.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he was
Moses
120.
just
Them say when him
Moses
get
just
up,
shut
no
off.
one know him grave. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. No one know him grave. But I'm
Yeah,
just saying
Moses
them.
just shut off, just like His Majesty. The same kind of move like His Majesty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what them I say, but may I say in the biblical narrative, yeah, you had Moses, but the other two when me
All
say
right,
like,
but listen,
they said
we don't want to. We want because that narrative with enough. We have plenty with some, so you gotta break up some of your things and come
true,
again.
my lord. So what I was saying, what I'm saying,
other people for come
you
on.
Rastafari. No, I'm just saying, we're not exclusive of from the transition argument because it's something been going on even before the Rastafari movement did come, you know. So we shouldn't be that blindsided that we feel say we're exempt from facing what everyone else have faced. My Lord and Empress.
My Lord, give thanks. Honorable Empress Macy.
Well, and before Mama Maisie come, we brought in, and I just want to juke this that one can have it in them head. We brought in the reasoning that the prophecy say during Revelation that after that we wouldn't have to face death again. But at the same time, there is a prophecy that says God is a spirit, so we must worship Him in spirit and truth. Now, factor that into the reasoning, factor that into your thought process as you think about, contributing to the reasoning. Because if at the end of the whole thing, the God, the divinity that we seek takes us to that level of being God, where now you drop that robe of flesh, saying is a spirit. That again also identifies that there's gonna come a time that you have to go drop that robe of flesh. Saying along with the statement of the man, this robe of flesh I drop and I rise. So it's a process that is that is a sign, that's the word. That's a sign to humanness. As long
All
as
human
you are
flesh.
within the human body, you have a duration on your life. My Lord and Empress. Yeah, Mama
My
Mia.
Lord. Honorable Empress
Go
Macy.
ahead, priest. Continue, priest. I'll come
Come
in.
again? All right.
Go
Well,
ahead,
even to
priest. I'll
strengthen
come
what
in
the
another
priest said,
hour. Okay?
we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And the human experience is temporary. The human experience is not eternal. We are eternal. But the experience we are experiencing through humanity, this three-dimensional world, is a temporary. That's what it boils down to. The floor is open. My Lord and Empress. Let us hear the thoughts. Let me hear what God has talked today, I say, in yourself. When him tell me, him not tell you. So you can tell me when him tell you. My Lord, we are wait.
Through the chair.
Honorable Priest Sevens, my Lord.
That's right. It's all how we perceive the scriptures, just like have an expert will say, keep the flesh holy and you'll have it forever. Now when you hear that, one will look at that straight literal and hard to see it any other way. right? But the only other way you can see that is what we now looked at within reincarnation, right? Keep the flesh holy, and you will have the reserve right to take up another flesh, you know? But that is how Priest 7 perceive it and how he break it down. Yeah. Yeah,
My
but
Lord.
the next man wouldn't look at it like that. It'll have a next part in the scripture will say, um, there are some of you that shall never taste of death. You know? And scriptures go on and on, you know. You see it? But that is how we perceive. You understand? We don't understand the symbolism again. You understand? When the word death itself means cease, you know. So look at it like that. There are some of you that will never cease. You understand? Not in the flesh, but never cease in energy. You know? That individual potential and uniqueness in all of us, that energy never cease. And even science would have show you too, even when anything that dies, a human being, a fruit, a tree, it doesn't disappear in the atmosphere, you know. It disintegrates and it goes into the universe. It doesn't disappear just like it does. It's not existing again. Everything that dies goes back into something as a cycle to make something else come again in a different form or in a different way. Seeds, trees, plants, humans, every single thing, all material, as a matter of fact. You know, nothing just disappears, you know? So like I say, my Lord and Empress, it's just how we perceive things to be. Sometimes we just have to change the perception and change the attitude. Change the attitude to accept right perception, you know, clear understanding. My Lord and Empress.
Honorable. And also, when we
Well
look
said, well said, Priest. Well
when we
said.
look historically, the this theological teachment where we have of this and all, and this world coming to an end, and the kind of what they call it, the rapture, and all these different theories came in around the 15th century, you know. Because from our African perspective, we never really look at it like that, you know. That all we, you know, the word of God, you know, the what they call apocalypse, the apocalypse teachment,
Mhm.
you know, that theory came into in the theological teachment in the 15th century, where all these different denominations rise up beside the Roman Catholic. You know, when I look into history and see, but from an African perspective, we never see this thing like we had the flesh forever, or death will never be there. You know, in the perfect world, will there be no death? Question.
We in the no, but we in the perfect world right now.
My Lord, give thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks. So there's different perspective, as we say, it's a subject. If we open up ourselves to, we can have enough narrative, each and every one. Because we all go through our thoughts. So we were asking the item to share some of them thoughts with us, my lord. Because we still here in a kind of silence, you know. So, my Lord and
You see,
Empress.
you see this religiousness, this religious doctrine that was beaten to us, because we didn't receive it just willy-nilly. So we didn't just grab it and say, yeah, we adapt it. It was forced upon us, seeing, and on a constant level because we were enslaved, we were chained. We had no free will to walk away or to ignore what was being forced upon us at that moment. And this thing was forced upon us, where them even create them own narrative to embed it in us, because things like the wages of sin is death. Seeing the and all these narratives that them put with it to let you fear death and not look at death as a natural process of life. Seeing, wherein this is why indigenous cultures are a threat to modernity, and the reason why indigenous cultures are on the endangered species list, because they are trying to rid the world of the indigenous knowledge, you know. And why I use that word, that indigenous knowledge is not just the African, you understand? All indigenous people had a connection. We had a kind of mindset in how we looked at things. That's why the father said, if a true Buddhist, a true Christian, a true Muslim, a true whatever was to meet at a crossroads, they would realize that they are spiritual kinsmen. We had that spiritual kinsmanship that linked us together. Indigenous people have that, see, because our knowledge came from nature, from the naturalness of life.
Creation.
And that naturalness is the basis of that naturalness is the same, the four corners of the earth. The basis, you know, the science of it. See, so we have that common understanding of things when it comes to the naturalness of life. Modernity is threatened by that. And why I bring this into being, the Native Americans, for those of us who have spent some years in the Americas, whether it is in deep North America of Canada or the US, you would have met the Native Americans or the native indigenous people of those regions. And they did not have a fear for death. That's why them fought the white guys so, you know, stringently back in the day without weapons. They didn't have the modern weapons, the gun and the cannon and the this and the that. But they still fought fearlessly because they did not fear death. They knew in defending what they were defending, which is the right of the people, justice, truth, and all those high morality. They know if they died defending that, that was an honor. That was something that they were going into the afterlife with a merit badge.
Rastafari.
But instead, I and I know through religious dogma that we were forced to embrace, we come believe so the wages of sin is death. Then now come every man die. The man said the righteous likewise the fool, the wise like just like the fool, the righteous just like the wicked. We all have to go the way of transitioning. So how does it become the wages of sin is death? We understand that sin has a reward for it, and that reward is not a good reward. We don't understand that there is, you know, every action there is a reaction and there is a consequence. See, so the consequence of sin, we understand that philosophy, but how is it applied to death? You know, to make one's fearful of death or one's look at death, because that is how we had perceived it back in the day. If we are to be truthful and speak the truth, back in the day when I was in my high religiosity up on Bubble Hill, when we hear one's drop out of earth, we are look upon it as a consequence for our sin. Even so, one of the big ancient priests, when Mama Phyllis passed the other day, not Mama Phyllis, when Mama Sharon passed the other day, and I was conversing about that, the priest in I and I midst said it. He said, then we can not dead in regards to our sister who came and submitted her heart and her soul, just like we all submitted our heart and soul at the throne of Christ. See, and his reaction to her passing was that wicked after dead. And when I look at him, he's up in age. He's much weaker than back in the how much 40, 50 years ago when I first met him. He's of a much weaker frame. So I don't see his journey being no long journey down the road according to the biology and the biological limitations that face us as people. But that is what has happened to us. The Honorable Chair said it right. Religion, the religion that we have embraced it's like everything else, a binary opposition. It has its good side and it has its negative side. Because it's the same thing we interchange as a spirituality, It's not like we all fully understand the difference between religion and spirituality, And there is a difference, but most ones, when they say use the word religion, they will in the next breath they will be continuing a reading and use spirituality or spiritual as a replacement word. See, just saying, family, blessed Lord.
My Lord. So the floor is open, my Lord. Yeah.
Blessed love, royal family.
Honorable Empress, Majesty Bless.
Ooh, topics like this, so many downloads. I'm like, I get overwhelmed. I'm like, I was thinking to myself, I'm not going to speak because there's so much that I want to put out. I'm like, I'm going to overwhelm myself. Oh, give thanks for the topic though, because it takes us deeper into not just the thought of transitioning, but it also takes you deeper into what life is, and how we should journey in our awakeness, I would say, versus death being a physical rest, because the spirit never dies, I want to share a couple of scriptures while ones were talking. I just looked up a couple of scriptures, but then I also want to share a personal story. But I'll read this first. It says, "Let the dead bury the dead" is a famous idiom originating from the Bible, found in Matthew 8:22 and Luke 9:60. It means that one should focus on moving forward with their life or mission rather than dwelling on the past, mourning things that cannot be changed, or tending to outdated traditions. So we think about this in the physical sense. In its original biblical context, a disciple asked Jesus for permission to delay following him so he could attend his father's funeral. Jesus responded with this paradoxical phrase, emphasizing that spreading the word of God and looking to the future, the living, takes absolute precedence over worldly, past-oriented obligations, the dead. Today, people across religious and secular backgrounds use the phrase in similar manner, often meaning prioritizing the present. Focus your energy on what serves your current path or mission rather than being dragged down by things that are already over. Moving on. It's a call to let go of grudges, nostalgia, or irreconcilable, losses, so you can focus on the future. Delegating the past. Leave old problems, expired relationships, or outdated conflicts to those who are still caught up in them. Rastafari. Thinking about the present and think about the physical life and physical death. It's almost like thinking about the sun and the moon, thinking about duality, right? Because you can't talk about life without talking about death, Again, I'm going to state these quotes that ones were saying. Let the dead bury the dead. Let's keep that in mind. Wages of sin is death. The dead in Christ shall rise is one that came to my meditation. And then also spiritual death, again, with physical death. And in my meditation, I often, when I read the scripture, I came to a point, I don't know when, but I came to a point to not look at things in the literal context. And then again, knowing that the original language is not English, I haven't done the research, but maybe the term death wasn't even in our vocabulary, right? Because African thought is that we don't die, that there is an expiration to the physical, but the spirit continues to live on. And so I, again, don't look at it in the literal sense all the time when reading text. And I think we have to really go deeper into what does that mean, because you have ones, I see it every day when I see ones who struggle with addiction. Ones will call them zombies. To me, that is a spiritual death, you know, that they are living physically, but spiritually dead, you know, because we are both physical and spiritual. So again, the scripture, let the dead bury the dead. It is also referred to those who are dead in spirit. Let them focus on the things that are dead. Or I also look at the scripture, the dead in Christ shall rise. Could it be that is the physical dead, or could it be those who are dead spiritually who don't know Christ consciousness yet, right? You know, because to not know Christ is, you know, in my meditation, a form of death. Okay. I also want to share a personal story. I don't share this often because, you know, ones have their own thought or meditation around, you know, having sight. And we have to, when I think about the word Rastafari as well, I think of eyes being ones that can see in depth. So far eye. And as a youth, I've always had sight to be able to see things in the spiritual. Okay. And so my elder sister transitioned about 12 years ago. And I've always been one that could see in dreams. That's just, you know, I'm not unique to that. I give thanks for the ability, but all ones have certain gifts, and sight is one of mine. And I would see things in my resting state, my sleeping state, you know, one's transition. They would come to me, nothing scary or anything like that. It was almost like, again, you know, we're talking about the balance or the alignment of physical life and spiritual life. They're the same, really, you know. And so I would see ones in my sleeping state. But when my sister transitioned, she lived in Florida, and my mom went. We didn't know that she was going to transition. We just thought that she, you know, had a mini stroke. Speaking of strokes today, you know, she had a stroke and she was fine. Went to the hospital, and I had spoken with her. She said that she was feeling better, and you know, long story short, she transitioned. My mother, she was on life support for a few hours. My mother called and said that that she was transitioning. At that time, I was at work, and I had left work, and it was in my mind, you know, heavy. I was like, this can't be, you know. I was thinking that this is not real. Again, this was my first experience being able to see someone transition in the physical. And I know one's, it's a joke about it, you know, one's like, this dumpy thing. This is real stuff. And we have been taught by religion, which has weakened our African strengths and abilities, to think that these things are negative or they're evil or wicked. But my sister's spirit came to me while I was driving on the highway. And it took me by surprise. It was a bit scary. But I saw her spirit walking. And what that, without going into detail because it'll make me emotional, but what it taught me is the power of the universe, and that death is not what we've been taught, that truly spirit is a continuation of life, you know. And so in my meditation this morning, when I was sharing what I was sharing on the WhatsApp page, part of it was a bit of frustration about what is going on as far as preparing those for the dead. And not only that, just unity in general. But when we, going forward, handle the issues of death, it is nothing to be afraid of. We have been taught that it's unclean. and I don't know where these things come from, you know. But when you think about ancient Kemet and ancient Egypt, to bury, even in, you know, Indian cultures, it is a holy and very special thing. You know, I think the uncleanness part maybe came from when we didn't know how to discard of, you know, the flesh. And over time, if it sat there, it could be disease, you know, and unclean. But the thought of looking at death in a negative way says a lot about our brainwashing, you know, because if your mother, your sister, your daughter transition, and in the Rastafari, specifically Bobo Shanti meditation and belief, is that you don't go and your body doesn't go and be taken care of by no one else but the family. And so who are we going to be left up to being taken care of? So the thought of that, because everyone's going to transition. So to think of it being a dirty thing says a lot about how we have to change our meditation and thought around death, you know. And I'll just stop there because I know we're going to continue on with the discussion, but I just wanted to share those things because we have to get out of, you know, this thought, you know, this, I don't know what to call it. We've just taken life, and it's religion and not knowing, you know, not knowing the African perspective on things, you know, that has taken us out of sync with what life is truly, you know, and what death is truly. So I'll just stop there, you know. Blessed love.
Give thanks for your perspective, Empress, and I could be corrected, but this platform is the only platform what I hear discuss death and the mortality of life and the reality of life, you know. So it's been a long time coming, but it's here. We can't run away from it. Floor is open, my Lord and Empress.
And to add to what you just said, Honorable Chair, not just platform within the EABIC, but platform within Rastafari.
Rasta. Yes, I
You understand? Because it's a taboo topic, you know, where we prefer to keep it in the dark than to bring it to light. So this is the Honorable Council of Elders that have taken on the courage to bring such a topic to light. And as we hear from the beginning of the program until now, there's nothing to fear. I haven't heard anything that should cause me to not sleep tonight and have nightmares and daymares and all of these things. There is nothing about death that is fearful the way in which it has been taught to us. The fire and brimstone preaching, as the Honorable Chair had said, these negative connotations and negative narrative was infused coming out of the 14th, 15th century when they found that it was a good method to use to inflict fear into people, the fear syndrome. Where just like with a child, when you're trying to grow up a child and you put a certain amount of fear in the child about certain things that you don't want them to do. The only thing that we don't do it in the way that Babylon does. But the way it has been done to I and I has caused us to have these kind of, you know, misconceptions. And not just having an opinion or a misconception, you know, we weaponize it against each other.
My Lord.
You understand? That is where now it becomes defeating. You know, it becomes a problem or problematic to I and I as a people, as a group, as a association. Because now that ones have come to this understanding of what death is and how it should be dealt with, there are others that have not reached that place yet. And some of them don't even look like they're going to reach that place in this life, like they're going to pass away in the ignorance of their own minds. Because when King Emmanuel trod, we must all be truthful. The culture that he held fast to, the culture that he taught, was an eternal living. That we all, there was no time that I have ever heard any culture coming out of the palace, out of the office, out of the or off of the altar that gave any other clarity in regards to the mortality of man. Seeing our father did not embrace the culture of death, and we understand it. This is not a negative. This is historical reference. This is not even an assessment. We held fast to the reality of living so we could get beyond the pain of colonialism, the brutality that was being meted out to us. Our father said he didn't know that he would have been down here so long, and everybody knows that statement. That statement has been echoed by many. See, he never knew that he was going to be down here that long. What does that tell I and I? See, because the culture coming to you, mama, and I'll end with this. The culture that we got tell us that is in Zion, there is no night, is in that utopian atmosphere where that ever living exists, That's why the whole thing was to make haste and head home to Zion, Seeing? If I stand to be corrected, family.
My lad,
See?
a man
And
went
I
Ethiopia. A man
Yes,
went
sir.
Ethiopia, my lad. And the man right back and say, how people say nah no night. He thought it didn't have no night in Zion. And he went Ethiopia and see night. And he realized that that's spiritual thing because if it don't have night, the fruits wouldn't get ripe. In the night have the what they call a kind of finesse or so I can't remember the word. Even this hymn, Lord of the Sabbath hear our vows. In this idea, in this house. Him say, no more region, how I put it, but only sacred high eternal noon. You know what it is to live in somewhere where it's just noon all the time? So that means the sun just start up in the middle of the sky there. So you don't have no evening breeze, and no night breeze. So it's a symbolical. So a lot of the things we say are symbolical, and we have to put it in the right perspective. The floor is open, my lord and majesty.
Ask your question to the family. If you don't have a statement, you must have a question. I know that questions must be flowing through our mind because I have questions. Even though I and I bring it up, I have questions that I want answered. Bless the Lord.
All right. Bless.
Empress Miriam asks for the chair.
Honorable Empress Miriam.
Blessed love, my Lord and Empress.
Blessed.
Give thanks to all what's said and done from the reason begin. Great topic. And when I look into it, at this time that we have to be dealing with this topic, I and I as Rastafari, Baba Shanti, should have wise up. When we see the Father who has taught us the road that he has trod. And you know that we all have to tread the road that he has trod. He had shown us the way. So that ignorant spirit that we have, not all of us, but some of us who have that dogmatic spirit, we're talking about death. And it's two things that we come with, is life and death. Now, when I went to the foundation, I went there with my 2-year-old son and pregnant with my 6th child, made my baby. And then after I made my baby boy, my first son died upon the hill. And Jah was there. Yeah. And he taught me a lesson. He couldn't save my son. When we run to him for saving grace, He couldn't save him. You understand? So I knew that it would have to happen. You see, the evil that they taught us about death and didn't taught us properly. From I was small, they say when you die, stepping eyes over my head. They make you afraid, like it's dopey. And all kind of bawling and all kind of thing they keep, all kind of ritual they keep up towards the dead, towards death. So that wiseness or that teaching, you know, the I and I should get. We did not get it. And that's why so much things are happening. People don't understand what is death and the meaning of death. It's only one man lay down his temple and take it up back in 3 days. No other great man, no other great kings or queens or all the great man that passes don't come back and tell us where how that is and where you are. We are just saying that we are with our ancestors when they gone there with their ancestors, etc., etc. Yes, and that is just how now we are learning that. You understand? But even the great teachers of old in the prophecy that lived for many hundred of years, their ending is death. Right? They have to die. And as I hear the teaching, it is appointed to man once to die. So I cannot understand for the life of me why, ones are so ignorant. Even them see the facts facing them, they still shutting their eyes and going around it and talking all sort of foolishness. And they know one day it will be their time. I remember Sister Phyllis, right? And they say, take him out of the yard, take her out of the yard before she dead. She don't want them. Them not want she dead up on the foundation. And the individual who made that statement, in 3 weeks, it was his time. And who have to bury him? It was people. I and I have to bury him. So all who are barking with ignorance and darkness know within themselves, say, one day it will be their calling. And it is the same individual or people will have to put them away. Okay, if they don't, then Drunko will be having a feast. And we don't want that, as Priest Harold stated in his vice note. You understand? So we must stop our ignorance and look at the truth. Sorry for the noise. The truth is facing us, but we seems not to want to acknowledge the truth. All of us, it's not time yet. Time will become that they will not be doing this job anymore. And grave will be refusing. But it is not time yet. You understand, people? So we must just know, say, once there is life, there is hope, and let we live for life, yes. But when that time comes, we all have to go. Because the Father tried to trod. You understand? And those who buried him like myself, we are still strong and we are still going and nothing happened to us. You understand? So, this topic here is very important. And we should be teaching this topic because Savannah said, this topic wasn't on the plate when we were on the foundation. It was not a topic that we talk about. You understand? This topic more arise when we see the treading of the father and treading of brothers and sisters. Because there were one time up into there was no Baba dying, you know. So this topic wasn't on the table for discussion. And if it was, or anybody passed, give them to the family and let the family bury them. You understand? And that wasn't right neither. Because they were working, the individuals them were working on give their life, give their all in all on the foundation. And leave their home and family. And they come and rallied with the God of love. And now they sick and they pass. The God of love should be burying them. And not the family who they run away from. Thus such is life. So I give thanks, we always councils of elders, you're doing great work, my council. Great teaching. I hope ones and ones taking it in. Look at, look at the fulfillment of it. Look at the truth. You understand? And get to it, man. Let us move out the dogmatic, the darkness, about dead. Kind of say one day you gotta go and somebody will have to bury you. And let us support and strengthen our loved ones when they are no more with us and we are sending them off. Now is the time for ones and ones to see what is happening. Get the reality, about this topic here. Ones and ones are afraid to be discussed, to talk about. But it is there, and we have to do what we have to do. So I thank you all for this topic,
Majesty.
and we are hoping it out to the world of people. You
Give
understand?
thanks.
Yes, my Lord.
To the chair.
Glorify and give thanks.
And
I'm keeping
1 minute. 1 minute. It's a spiritual assassination because for we to a
We could
brethren
hardly
to
hear
be
you.
praising Jah Rastafari, and then when him pass away, he don't have powers over him limb. Funeral is a ceremony of faith. So whatever faith the family is in, that is the faith they're gonna put him down. So here comes a man who live him whole adult life praising Farai, and the final day he on the earth, they sending him home in a Jesus name. That I see as a spiritual assassination.
Rastafari.
It just, you know what
Yes,
I mean? My Lord.
after
To
the
the
Empress
chair.
Royal chair.
I just wanted to
Okay.
make my lord and my lord. I just wanted to make mention that I'm keeping track of the on the
Live
YouTube
stream.
also, right? The live stream on the YouTube also, and someone is referring to number 66. Number 66 says, all the days that he separated himself unto the Lord, he shall come at no dead body, etc., etc. But my question is, we are so embedded in King James version of what should be, and we don't embed ourselves in His Imperial Majesty in Marcus, the words of Marcus Mosiah Garvey,
Rastafari.
and all the other
Rastafari.
saints, that we say
Yeah.
are our deities.
Yes, I.
I just wanted to
Perfect.
continue reading one thing again from the
Peter Nigas.
correct. I'm sorry.
How
You're
we
Hold
ahead
on.
of me. You're ahead of me. I have several books in front of me open, so I'm pretty. And
Yeah, let the Empress read that.
it says here, continue on reading. If a dead person is a priest, no, I don't even want to go there first. It says here, we also, O bishops and laymen, must take care of the body of the one who is dead. You must not believe that you will be contaminated by doing so, nor shall you therefore despise their bones.
Rastafari.
It is said in the canons, written for the kings, when a woman dies in childbirth or dies shortly after giving birth to a child, She shall be bathed and wrapped in other clothes. So who's going to bathe her and wrap her? My question, right? If it's not her own. Not used during her childbirth, and prayers must be said over her body in the church because death has purified her.
Rastafari.
See that? Because
Right.
death has purified her. It continues there, but I want to move on to something else. And it also said, if the dead person is a priest, he shall be placed before the altar of God in the sanctuary. These are the word of his imperial majesty. If he is a layman, he shall be placed under the altar. Then the archbishop shall offer incense and prayer to God in thanksgiving. After him, the minister shall read selected passages from the Psalms, passages dealing with the hope of true resurrection, a resurrection about which we have no doubt, and passages dealing with the confession of sin acceptable to God. After this, the archbishop shall go forward and pray over him. At the end of the prayer, he shall kiss him, saying, farewell. And after him, all those present shall kiss him. Then the archbishop shall pour oil over his head and recite over him the appropriate prayer. Then his body shall be placed in an honored place near the pure bodies of those who were his equals in rank. And I'm only saying this just
Who said those words? Who again? Who?
Peter
this
Ganagas coming out of his majesty.
right.
Okay. His
Something like that, the
Majesty.
law of the king. So
Yes.
I'm only reading this to say is that we know that the Bible have thousands and thousands of inaccuracies in it because of what they did and all they took out and how they tried to rewrite a lot of things. So we must be careful, family. I mean, we must have you utilize common sense. We must utilize our love for our brothers and our sisters and those that fellowship with us, our family members, and not be so dogmatic or so dark that we do not see the good in our brother and our sister and our family members. Because if your mother who have raised you or any person who have raised you to be whom you are today transition, are you not going to make certain that that person is carried off well? It is only common sense, common knowledge that we take care of our own. We can't allow other people to come in. What kind of people are we when we allow other, and we say we are government above all governments, but what kind of people are we when we allow other people to take over, to take care of those who have worshiped with us, who have loved us, who have spoken with us, who has helped us along the journey of life to do those things, to be upright, to be loving, to be kind. So I'm just saying that to say, for ones and ones, please be mindful that you can't have your deities and not emulate the words of your deities. We know that it's not every single thing because that's the reason why we came out of the church. That's why we are Rastafari. Because we didn't want Babylon system. But so how do we send our people back to Babylon?
Yeah.
My Lord and Empress, blessed.
Majesty bless. And I have a priest, Earl.
And then we have Empress. Now, when you're finished, we have Empress Diane, and then we have Priest Adigan.
Okay. And I have a priest, Earl, my Lord.
Yes, royal family, one perfect love, no man, and great reasoning going through. You remember you have a book named The Coming Forth by Day and Night, otherwise known as the Egyptian Book of the Dead, okay. It tell you about the different step, that a man art have to be even lighter than feather to pass through these different gates. This book was even before the Bible, right? And these books sometimes written past stone before even the book also, right? We're still there, maybe in Kemet right now, And with that said, the culture, as long as you have the sun rising, where that's it, birth, you must have a sunset. So,
Rastafari.
you know, when they tell you about that 3 day, you know, also it is speaking about the SUN. Every winter solstice, that SUN stands still for 3 days, where them say that is the lowest region that the sun can go, right? And it stands still for the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and up on the 25th. It start to move again. So them say, you know, the birth of the sun, you know. And in our lesson, our father was really teaching I and I when he even sing the hymn, this robe of flesh, I drop, you know what I mean, and rise. So that was part of the hymn that was even teaching I and I that when you say the robe of flesh, you know, from it drop, you can't have it in the yard like, oh, you know, or it never did really done proper to the father. Because through the confusion, you know, if someone try to do what to be done at that moment, it should have caused murder. Because some individual was looking for, you know, the father to rise after 3 days. So this place start smell away that you see the junk of them, you know, start fly around. Right where, you know, individual, you know, have to move the man in the night, right? Just to bring him forward the Friday morning because the place really start smell away. So who was not there, right? Because sometimes he's a man attack right now. Me did dead, you know, right? I mean, know the place is smell. That is our father we are talking about, you know, right? Yes. So it never in the deal proper with our father neither because what them speak about back a while, fulfill upon the hill. Or we have the man up there, you know, our back a while and never want to bury him. You see, it so it never really happened at the back a while, but it happened up on the hill. You see it? Where, you know, the man them who even didn't know the right to do the right couldn't they do it. Because some man was there having him, you know, as one priest said with him was giving him mouth to mouth, you know, and I not why say that him never did do that, right? You see it, cause it's not every time I was there at all time. You know, when I go look, you know, that Tuesday morning when the little prophet come and say Jah is not breathing. When I go and look and I see man around him and them a do all type of thing and say him not die because you know, dead man always end up stiff and sit them a move him hand, you know, and him a move. You know what I mean? The man still a move him not stiff and all of that and I don't go forward. You see it? I leave that alone. You see it? So a big injustice to reach our father. And our father was telling the man them say him a go move. Right? And man say them a go look passport at the moment car it's trading where them a say you know, them a say well a plane time, you know, or some migration scheme. But he was telling them he was traveling in him temple. Because when a man a go traveling in him temple as a ancient man, him know. You see it, even, you know, the intellect of I and I father, you know, or him the intellect, that's why man call him the general. So at the time when him ready for travel, him know say him a go travel now. You know, remember a couple months before him look on high, you know, until I say I pick out the service, you know. And, you know, when I go up there a couple times too, I used to say the man I got travel to, you know. And at the moment, standing in front of him, see that the man I got travel. And that spirit come down and start warring on my temple. If I come in front of the father. And I look on the father, then wait there. So really and truly that first spirit that come to me and said the man I got travel, you know. I can't to how me see him look was right. Then another spirit come back to me now and wow with me one a temple. I say, I follow you keep up in front of the father.
That's the eye.
You see it? So the man that give you the hint even in the hymns them, you know. But as the honorable priest say, it wasn't the culture. But as if you know say, from the sunrise man, the sun must set. Because you see say the sun about midday, at 3 stages of the sun. once a man, twice a child. You see it? So from, you have a birth, you must have, because sometimes let me say from life, but life always be life where, that are the spiritual part of everything. But as long as the life to go into the flesh and you call it birth, you must have a sunset and the sun show away that 3 stage of itself. You know what I mean? So that 3 day darkness, as I say again, at the sun stand still also will happen every year at the winter solstice, one perfect love royal family.
Priest Earl, I give thanks for your open heart reasoning because enough man frightened to talk
Hear
about
you,
how to
priest.
talk, priest. Me condemn, eh?
Can't hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, no?
No, speak up a little louder.
Me say, I want to commend Honorable Priest Earl for such an open heart reasoning. Cause enough man frightened to talk like that. Priest, me respect the eye, because the eye talk the truth. And that ain't to say no big up, but the truth, my lord, I dread glorify. Because you see how you see you talk there? Me see everything what you were saying. We have that ability too. When we speak truth, we can actually visualize it in ourselves, my lord. So I was right there in your memories, priest. Glorify, my lord. Floor is open.
No, Empress Dion.
Empress Dion, yeah, and then Empress. Oh, and we give thanks to Honorable Kes Ingram is on. His hand is up. So he will come after Priest Adigan. Empress Dion, are you now? Majesty.
Love, my Lord and Empress. It have a book called the Book of Joshua, which gives the accounts of the unfinished stories of the Bible, or the unfinished version. The Book of Joshua gives you the full version of what the Bible left out. And with the killing, when Cain killed Abel, after he got his judgment and had to go, Adam was studying, well, what to do with his structure, what to do with his body, because this is the first death he encountered. And while he was meditating it, he looked across yonder and saw a blackbird called a jackdaw digging a hole to bury its young as well. So that is how he came to know what to do with his son at that moment. And it have a saying in the world, don't make an animal smarter than you. So if animals know what to do and the right thing to do, what is stopping us, gods and goddesses, from doing such? And a second point, well, the empresses and them droid, but it is something passionate to me that I found disturbing, because as a second generation Rastafari Bobo Shanti, I grew up as well with the strong belief we shall never die. Firm. And it have a saying in Trinidad, you have to stay black. I will stay black and dead black, or something so. But first it's not our culture saying, I do himself remember it, but you live black and you die black, or somehow it go, but the concept of it is that no matter, it is hurt here. This subject, I give thanks that the I and them bring forward this, because this subject is dear to me, because don't tell me you saying Jah Rastafari, all these elders leave the family from 19 how long, never look back at a mother or a brother or nothing. and to come to pass away, and that is the family you had to go back to bury this kin who never was part of your life or part of their life or part of the everyday joy or sadness, or because we separated ourselves from our family members at that time. Especially these elders who lived on the foundation. They literally separated themselves from the family. And now that they pass away, is that same family member you had to go to ask to put them away. And then all the years you saying, Jah Rastafari, it is what name you're going to be buried in. I found that very disrespectful and very, very, very hurtful. So I give thanks for the few brave angels and backlash warrior soldiers who stand in the ground to do the right, even though, and here why it would look like it's wrong, because it's only a little minute few doing it, while the races and the masses doing everything else. So what you doing, and I'm pointing at you, Honorable Priest Imesley, and the few in Jamaica who actually standing up and saying, this is my brother who I prayed with. I will take charge in putting him to rest. Give thanks for all your works, because the few who do the right will exalt and conquer the multitude who choose to do otherwise. My Lord and Empress.
Honorable Majesty, Royal Secretary, to give thanks. Honorable
I
Priest Adigan.
applaud your statement, Empress Dian, Royal Secretary. I applaud your statement. And I can feel where it's coming from. You say it's
Yes,
not
sir.
out just off of the tongue it come. I can feel the belly button in it. So give thanks.
My
My
Lord, give
Lord and
thanks.
Master.
Honorable Priest Adigan.
Worthy God, through my Lord and Majesty, give thanks once again, royal sons and daughters of the Most High. Holy Emmanuel, I Selassie,
Selassie,
Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Yes, well, I did hear reasoning pertaining to pollution, and I hear certain voice notes going out where one's made a statement the same way if one get caught up in a house where a woman is unfree, is polluted, it's the same way we react to that. But you see what the Fet and the gas counter react that. See?
Yes,
No, let's no, as it relates to the concept of death being pollution, right? I am an eyewitness, as is Rasavana, as is Priest Earl, the transition of King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. We're there and there. When people talk about breeze and darkness and sun blow up and all these things, I was there. See? And I look upon it natural. He's a natural man in a flesh and blood. King Emmanuel was, and it was a natural man in a flesh and blood that got put in the dirt. He did not come to fulfill the Jesus of the Bible, because the Jesus of the Bible didn't go under the earth. And many more. And in them times, they wouldn't put him man under the earth. Lazarus wasn't under the earth when Jesus rising. You understand? They were tombed. So you see, even when them say, up from the grave, a grave is a dirt thing. You understand? So Christianity implement that and say, up from the grave we arose. Christ never know earth and put him in yet we dig the earth and put King Emmanuel in it. See? And pollution. So how comes King Emmanuel's passing was not regarded as pollution, and because it reached a stage, because I ministered the Saturday after I was there with her who was ministration service. See, I was there. I seen the goings on. So I give thanks when I move and go to Jamaica that year, because I witnessed something that I even go a road and hear one's blaspheming and telling lies that I have to put them straight. Because I am an eyewitness. of the transition of King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. I was there, right? But the thing, you see how the Empress said, we leave our home and family, and it troubles her. It troubles me that if one of we pass, we're polluted objects, and we must get sent back to our family. But when it was King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, was not the same. Love was not merited. It was different.
Jesus syndrome.
And this is where the Jesus syndrome, give thanks.
Yeah.
They knew their reason that earlier to them, my Lord. Right? This is where the Jesus syndrome comes in now, where only one man, like the Paulianity, because that's them say Christianity, but I call it Paulianity, Paulianity.
Pauline, yes, I.
Based off of that
Pauline
man, the
doctrine,
Paul.
yes, I.
Yeah. Yeah, so this Paul doctrine now go to the earth and even say, you shall be saved by no other but Jesus Christ. And me hear man a put out the let the dead bury the dead, not understanding what that is. And if I take that literally, how dead people carry anyone?
All right, Ruth.
What, you telling me say my spirit? Who tell you say my spirit dead? Who is you? Who give you the authority, right? Because if that's your concept, say, let the dead. So you're trying to say the spiritually dead people must bury the physically dead people. That's what you're saying. You're saying I am righteous, spiritually dead. For you to come to such presumption or assumption then, or whatever you want to put it as, you're saying I am spiritually dead. Because that's the interpretation of the scripture, you know. The spiritually dead. Right? Let them bury the physical dead. And I don't see myself as spiritually dead, to tell you the truth. And I thought I had to interject the part with King Emmanuel, because I am saying the way one's loud up King Emmanuel and make him the be all and the end all. And I witness him suffer the same fear like human being before him suffer. And you come and grave. Won't even Bob Marley get a more honorable burial than our father. Because Bob Marley in a mausoleum in goodie above the earth. And our father put under the earth and rotten as bone. You understand? So all of these things we never prepare ourselves for, because if we prepare and we was checking it scripturally, we would have never put our father under the earth, but we wasn't ready. Understand? So I want to know from whence in how far does one draw this pollution argument when it comes to one passing as it relates to King Emmanuel and his passing, yet his passing was not considered a polluted state. So I don't know one's vision or meditation upon that, but when it comes to King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, there's a double standard in the Baba Ashanti. My Lord and Empress. Bless
my Lord. Give thanks for the straightforward reasoning. Honorable Kessingram, glorified to hear the high voice, my Lord.
Blessed Lord Royal Family.
My Lord.
Greetings and blessing, and give thanks life today, you know? Give thanks for the reasoning. Very interesting reasoning. I want to commend the part of the Fetani gas that was introduced, the reasoning, to help to clear up some of the misunderstanding that we embrace earlier in the Bible, because we never understand. I hear Empress Akim touch upon it, which is very interesting, you know, about the dead, bury the dead. It was not relating to no giving over the temple of your brethren or your family to the next one. That is foolishness. As I am on growing up and coming into awareness of myself, I recognize sometimes when the things in the Bible is conflicting to my spiritual being, I'm an ascribe myself to the learning of the elders, the ancient way, the African way. And so I who know me supposed to hear the story already. there is a land that Priest Turks buy for a brethren for build a hotel. And the elders in that place tell the brethren, say, him can fence round him property, but there's a section, a little corner, that he must not fence around. Because this is the place where they go and talk and communicate with the ancestors. And I'm an Empress and Sister Naila was visiting the hotel the night, and both of them had a vision of their mother who had passed. But it wasn't like a dream. It was so real that they got scared and left out of the place 4 o'clock in the morning. So how real it was. But this is a portal that the Africans use to connect with the elders and the ancient. And we have known this in our culture, coming as as Africans, as young Rastaman. For centuries, we know, say, them talk to the elders, that means, say, they didn't die. Them just step on another plane of existence that you're not seeing them physically. Today, science talk about the quantum fields of realities, that there are so many different aspects of reality happening at the same time in parallel. That this physical plane that we take as the whole world and the whole universe and everything is a miniature piece of reality, you know? And so when religion bring rules to govern, it was taken out of practices that the Africans had that was devoid of rules. The 10 Commandments, was taken from the 40 affirmations that says, I have not. So we, in the consciousness of ourselves, are aware of these things. But then when time we've been enslaved and brutalized, them beat it out of us, so we have to be taught now that you shall not kill and you shall not do this. But we was aware that in our understanding of ourselves as being part of the source of life and the eternal God that exists forever. So when Dada always give me the closing him, this line him say, this robe of flesh I'll drop and rise. The man I show you say is not a dead thing. And it's not even going down either. It's an upward climb to a different element, a different existence that we are not taught of out of this religion world. They have captured some of our truths and stuff and created something to keep us in fear and to keep us with this thing when them call sin. So you're born in a sin and iniquity, rubbish and foolishness. But again, the book says, I and I must seek to know. So we have to seek out the knowledge because it is there. We have to seek the knowledge to be approved in what we are confessing and what we are professing as priests and priests. Come to that awareness. One of the first proverbs in the ancient pyramid says, man, know thyself, and you will know all things. When you come to the realization that what we look in the mirror is a reflection of the physical being, but it is I, the I am, that is looking at that. It's two separate things. That is what we must identify ourselves as. Or else we are going to say, we are dead. And God cannot die. You know, see it. That's why we never have a fear of the physical going down, because we know, say, we go and come from that world to this world, from that world to this world, as Priest Bobby rightfully say, man come and man go. You know, see it. Yes, it's a whole heap of things this reason are bringing forward. And we only hope that more ones can hear it and open up them heart to understand that we're greater than this physical being. that we identify in ourselves as. You see, that's why Christ is say, greater is in you than in all the world. The greater being that we are is the I am that is in this flesh. But if you define yourself as just the flesh,
The
you
flesh.
limit the God. Yes, you limit the God.
My Lord.
You see
Selassie.
it? And
Rastafari.
sometimes we use the word spiritual, it's so abused that you don't even have a you don't even have a full comprehension of what you have to when you say a spiritual being.
Yes,
You see it?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
But
right,
we identify, say, we are greater than this physical being that we
yes,
see a
man.
reflection in the mirror. It's
Yes,
just like
man.
you put on a suit of clothes, you know?
Yes, it.
You're greater than the clothes. You
You're
see it?
greater than the clothes.
Most natural, my lord, you know? And when we
Yes,
come
sir.
to that oneness, then it demands of us a certain liberty to parallel that spiritual being that we are, to
Rastafari.
enhance that awareness and to learn of the laws, universal laws that govern the existence of that spiritual being that we are, you know? And that's how we head for there.
Yes,
My
sir.
lord, I'm gonna take up too much reasoning still, but a wonderful reasoning. I
Yes,
commend
sir.
pre sevens, you know, all the
Yes,
reasoning
man.
still. But I love the perspective that pre sevens take and the
Yes, sir.
explanation from Sister Akeem, you know, because as a youth I grew up like that too, was seeing things. And when we young, them I tell we say a dope we say. But I talk and commune with other ones from the next plane. When time as a youth until I was about 12 years old. So I'm aware of that existence, my lord, you know. Give thanks, brethren, and Empress blessed.
Rastafari. Thank for your words, my lord, enlightening yeah. Right, that's natural. A reason come up last week Sunday, and me say I speak of the spiritual assassination we do to we brethren when we send him up under the Jesus Christ, the last physical day on the top of the earth. And our brethren stood up and say, well, I don't care what they do to me, You know, see, because I gone. And me say, my land. So you figure it's just that was saying there, or it's more than that, my land. So we not have no ceremonial order. We're not addressing the spirituality of it. I read in a thing, they say, if you are wrong a person when they passing away, don't get frightened and panicky because you're actually witnessing the two worlds come together for eon of a
That's yeah,
second and
true,
pass. You know
true.
that way? Yeah. You see, that time you should have a calm vibes in it. Drink some tea, relax, because it's a phenomenon that's experience. They might life is more than just this flesh and this 3 dimension what we see in here. Else, if that was
True,
the case,
true,
the white will win. The white will
true.
win if that was the case in this judgment.
Could I add
So,
one more
Honorable
sentence?
Priest, go ahead, Kesem Gang.
When I hear Priest Adigan was reasoning, I want to say to him, say, if the Father said this robe of flesh, I will drop and rise, then what we bury in the earth is not King Emmanuel. It's the
Rastafari.
flesh that did old King Emmanuel. That is
You
why
see,
we say Emmanuel ever live. You see
you
it?
Natural,
see,
my lord. If that,
Rastafari,
but,
blessed.
and we're
but
not
since
taking
you
the
on that,
reasoning, but it bring me to this point here, and I see this point later on. Remember the man named Charles Edwards, and him tell we say the
yeah,
father check him and tell him have a work, seeing him doubting and him fall off of the ladder. So the man come and rise the Emmanuel in himself. That the Emmanuel actually override Charles Edwards, was just Emmanuel in flesh. You know see it? You never understand what I say? Him
Yes,
rise the
sir.
Emmanuel in himself. And that is I have to do now. Not that we are going to have people following we or anything, but that the
agree.
example the man show we have to rise the Emmanuel in ourselves. He look at me and him say, priest, and see, the same God in the man is the same God in this man, This man just has tried to do all right.
I
To the
agree,
chair,
my lord.
Honorable.
I just wanted to address what please Noko just said, right? Yeah, I fully understand. But my point, why I did use reasoning, right? I just deal with how people align that with the Bible and all of these things, and and it's just a point of reasoning. Yes, I am a know, sorry. Yeah, I know Emmanuel the Spirit. I am a know that. I man no understand and know that my point I was making was not that I was talking about the double standards we all as Baba Ashanti Mount Well when it comes to King Emmanuel, a pollution and the passing of the flesh. That was I was trying to get across that the double standards held in the Congress is not the same credit and as the word, what you call reverence given unto Emmanuel. They didn't classify it as a polluted state when he passed, but if it happened to another brethren, you know, if it go around him because it's pollution and you are broken as a rightful and all of these things. That was the point I was trying to make. Double standard. I wasn't looking out who get buried in a earth from now. That's what the point I was trying to get across, my Lord.
Point taken, my lord. Point taken.
Point taken, my Lord. Honorable
Right
Priest
here.
Ratavana.
Yes, my lord. There's a few touches on some points here. I was waiting for a moment. I didn't want to get lost in our memory, but Mama Maisie made a statement, you know, a very important statement that we need to clarify or build out on. When she spoke about there's only one man that laid down in life for 3 days and was able to take it back up. Now, while we understand the culture, the scriptures, you know, the whole fullness of that, what we need to factor into that moment, not the statement that Mama made. Mama's statement was quite, it expressed the point she was trying to make. But in looking at that moment where the scriptures speak of, where the man laid down his life for 3 days and take it up forward, even within that process, you know, he was in transition to the higher plane. If I check the full context of what happened, it's not like he took up his life and walked back on the face of the earth. It's not like he took up his life and then next week was able to go check him around on Bobo Hill or wherever. See, he made a visitation to his disciples, to his loved ones who were still caught up in the moment of whatever, what they want to call it, mourning, sorrow, surprise, you know, and he came and clarified what happened and gave them back that strength to continue on the work. But he was in transition to the higher plane. See, now that's a process of all ones. Now I can't say whether it is 3 days or whatever as the standard. See, because yeah, we don't. I personally don't know all things, and I don't know that. But I know that in the ancestral sacred sciences of Africa, it teaches you that the spirit after a certain moment leaves from that goodie. When it leaves, it goes through its stages on the way to that next plane of existence. See? So when we look at that still, you know, we always what they have done, what colonialism have done, what the Western teaching have done, is to teach us how to think.
And that's
They have taught
dangerous.
us, yes, they have taught us a method that we naturally try to understand things and explain things and look at things in a certain way by the pattern in which we've been taught to think. And that's why the Honorable Prophet said, we have to kind of lego that and go back to our Ethiopian spectacle. Start to look back at things through that ancestral understanding, that ancestral vision versus the structured pattern that we have been taught. Now, that is one thing.
Oh, so.
We leave our home and family to rally with the God of love. You know, it's something we're saying, something we express all the time and thing. But, and I want to highlight it as a reasoning. Is it a culture that we should really embrace? Because while I understand what it means in its essence, I don't think most of us, or most ones that express it, understand the essence of what it is saying. See? Because if we're talking about the God of love, this man that teaches us a love that the world don't know, would he be telling you to leave your loved ones, your family, your siblings, especially those that when I talk about in a family where reject you and treat you away because you're holding on your faith now. Because some of I and I come up in families that were more receptive. And if not the mother and father, our siblings were always irie with I and I. So is it that culture is to tell us to shun them and just embrace Bobo Hill or embrace the Bobo concept, the Rastafari concept, and just shun them? Or is it that we should live to show them a greater light? Just a thought process I want I and I to go through, because sometimes we regurgitate and express these quotations, but we don't fully get the essence of it. A lot of it we give it a religious connotation or a selfish connotation, see, and not looking at the true meaning of the message that the Father was sharing when he brought about these statements. Blessed love. And finally, the one that said we put the burying underground versus in our mausoleum and them thing there. But Marley and them in our mausoleum, that was never I and I father, I and I father wasn't a spectacle. I don't think I and I father carried that vibe where he would want to be in a position where people come view him like a tourist attraction or something like that. See, not saying, if a man choose to have a one of them thing there is something wrong. It's not a right and wrong issue that I am speaking to. I am speaking to
character of the
yeah,
man.
right, and his character expresses his culture expresses his character. His character expresses his culture. See? And the African culture is what we are looking at. How did our ancestors do things? Because we have come to understand now that the veil has been removed, that the modernity that we see and the great advancement that Europe and these people are claiming, this eureka moment, is a falsity. Our ancestors understood greater science than the scientists of today. They might not have, they did not develop a lot of the little gadgets and the little things and the pretty names and the definitions that we hear today and see today. But levitation, shape shifting, and all those things was a natural part of the alchemy living. It was a natural understanding of science that our ancestors held. And today, they held to that and knew that without the Hubble telescope and them could draw a map and show you where Sirius be there. And the average man can't look up in the sky and know even where Sirius is there, much less be. Them have to have a telescope to be able to do them thing there. Or them have to wait for the darkest night and go up in a mountain where there's no light reflection and can try to do something like that. See? But our ancestors were able to do it just naturally. They didn't have a watch to tell you what time it is. And Elder could look and say, well, it's 11 o'clock now, It's 10 o'clock. Because I have seen people in Jamaica do that growing up. See? Even I and I have a little ability of that. Knowing how to look at the reflection of the trees, the shadow from the trees and objects, and tell you what time it is, whether it is before 12 or after 12 and things like that. Our ancestors were a knowledgeable family, knew great science. They had the time. Their life was not bogged down to a 9 to 5 living and paying rent and telephone bill and these things, They had the time to sit and ponder. They had the time to finish a thought. I know much ones haven't thought about this, but how many times in your lifetime have you been able to complete a thought? Complete it and not be distracted by something within your space. See, we don't get many moments like that. That's why the man said to commune with your own heart upon your bed in the stillness of the night. See, because there you can reach to a heights within your thoughts. See, but we don't practice those things. We don't have a fullness and an understanding of those things. So let us not undermine our ancestral knowledge, because it is our ancestral knowledge that have space shuttles going up in the sky and we're flying on plane today and all the things that you see going on. If they did not lay the foundation and understood formulas and teach us how to understand formulas, we would not be able to have algorithms today. See, in mathematics, Pythagoras would not be claiming a theorem today or a theory today. He would be just another name in the wind. Blessed love, family.
My Lord, give thanks. And the floor is open, my Lord and Empress. And we have been talking now for 3 hours, 9 minutes. So, true, we say we want to limit ourselves and not stress it out. So we're looking at the timing. And the floor is open, my Lord and Empress.
Through the chair, my Lord and Empress.
Majesty bless. Honorable Priest Brown, my Lord.
Oh, give thanks to the gathering of saints, my Lord and Empress.
The song is very clear today, my Lord. Very clear.
Oh, give thanks, my Lord. And we're having showers of blessing in my side of Jamaica. Give thanks.
Rastafari.
And
I send some come and standard priest. Send some over the mountain there. We could have do it some in the I know.
oh, my Lord. On the subject of mortality or immortality, me have to put the two of them together, to my exposure to life. Because you have a mortal world and you have the immortal world. It told me come decipher the thing. So immortality is the basis that produced the mortal world. And man, the immortals do walk amongst man, as we learn, because of such mystical. But then, if we check the reality of history and prophecy, which we have learned, have been taught, only few mortals have ever attained the transition of moving, that their physical transformation was taken up into immortality, you know, and not because our physical structure, no, Tommy see it, our physical structure does not attain into that accent of immortality through the knowledge of our ancient African tradition. Our who transcends still enters in the world of the immortals, you know. So we have to just know how we see it then to clearly understand the settings of creation. And the deeper and the closer we analyze the African spirituality, not just from one aspect, because most, even in my exposure to education, they mostly feature upon certain parts that the Europeans choose to select, you know, namely Egypt, which I speak of with enough respect, but knowledge has done knowing that from timber one to timber two, there has been different approaches to the recognition of immortality and the long preservation of life, you know. So give thanks to the increase in knowledge, love and unity, progress on my Lord and Empress. Do give thanks.
Honorable Priest Brown, always a joy to hear your voice, my Lord. But should we say we want to um deal with built on facts and pillar posts on truths. Did it have a Timbuktu or was it just Timbuktu 1? My land.
I couldn't answer you. Say,
I,
I was exposed to Timbuktu in Mozambique. But then
all
again,
right.
in further research, I come read of Annex Timbuktu name came up over in what we call now North Africa.
Okay. Because I know we always say from Timbuktu 1 to Timbuktu. But
So
somewhere along the line when it get a reason like it didn't have a Timbuktu 1.
well, there were libraries in North Africa which I find out bear that same name, Timbuk. And
Okay.
but the first one I learned about in high school was in Zimbabwe.
All right.
Honorable priest,
My lord.
Is not Timbuk TWO or Timbuk ONE. Okay, it's not Timbuk 1 or Timbuk 2. You
Yeah.
understand? So it is sound make people keep saying that, you know.
Wait
Okay.
please. Wait till.
The two, it's not TWO, it's TU, it's Timbuk 2. Timbuk
Okay.
2. If we're going to pronounce it
Timbuktu.
like that.
All right,
It's not.
Timbuktu. All right, all right.
It's
It's
TU,
not
it's a
like
TU
Timbuk 1
code.
and Timbuktu. It's
No,
Timbuktu.
it's not a number thing, it's a spelling
All
thing.
right.
Exactly what
Rastafari.
I'm saying, honorable historian. That's why I'm telling them. It's just that we, in our little narrative, it's
All
several
right.
things, you know. It's several things I learned like that up a camp, you know. And it's later years, you know, reading and doing other things that I come across the
Right.
true meaning and the
Yeah.
true spelling because we are go with the rhetoric or the
So,
culture. Let us be courteous. We are going with the culture and not the factual spelling and
Yeah.
what them call the etymology of the word. Yes, family.
Yes. Yes.
so the
Give
chair,
thanks. My Lord.
the reasoning is the four wings of Africa, So from Cape, which is the
To
southern
Cairo.
part, to Cairo, and from
Right.
Timbuktu, which is on the east side, to the west
Uh-huh.
side. I hear the priest from Ghana passed the other day. What him name again?
Debbie. Please,
With
Debbie.
Debbie,
Priest Zebi is the only man I hear upon the altar correct that.
Okay.
And say is the name the other country it starts with a D. I'm not remembering the exact name of it. It's not Darfur, but it's something like it I say from Timbuktu to Darfur, but it's not Darfur is the name, but it starts with a D. So it's just from east to west, from north to south.
Oh,
The the,
yeah.
the,
Djibouti.
the brethren them that will come and see were not the greatest readers. And so their base knowledge was restricted to what them understand, and they understand things
Yeah.
by the sound and
Yes.
not the reality of the word, the sound. So it sounds like Timbuk one. It never was a Timbuk one.
Timbuk 1.
You
That's right.
understand? No. It's never
Yeah.
like the priest say it's not Timbuk
Timbuktu.
TW. It's Timbuk
It's
Timbuk
Timbuktu.
TU. Yeah.
Timbuktu.
See?
President, me put
My Lord.
the spelling in the chat. One check the
All
chat.
right.
Me put the rightful spelling in the chat.
All right.
Timbuktu. Timbuktu.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes.
hey, priest, look at
From
that little
Dakar to
simple thing.
Djibouti.
Yeah,
Djibouti.
man,
Djibouti.
that's what I
Yes,
was.
my
Yeah,
lord.
that's what
Thank
I
you
was
very
saying.
much.
Djibouti.
Djibouti.
Selassie.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is
Yeah.
it. From
Yes,
Djibouti to
hey,
Timbuktu.
my Lord. All in the reason I say, because we talking about the solution and everything. You see, fellowshipping with one another are one of the key things, with the openness of heart and one objective to know, say, unity, bigger than. My Lord, it's something we learn here, I know if I block that song, I will get enough argument from Boras. God. You know, see, I get
Priest
thanks to
Nappy set
hear
the tone. Priest Nappy set the tone earlier with him statement. And says not this thing that we have about, who is right. It's not about who
yeah,
is right. It's about what
what
is
is
right.
right?
True.
Selassie.
So true.
Always want to win the whole part, you know. We want to win the whole part. Even when we don't have the right information, you know.
Yes.
Lord, I give thanks. It's a great thing. A great thing that them clear up today, my Lord. I hope people on the chat really penetrated it because it's been around from 19 how long? Timbuktu 1 to Timbuktu. You know? So give thanks for the understanding, my Lord, and the clearance of the honorable priest, elders of the elder council. You know, the man say with the elders, you get knowledge. You know? Yeah. My Lord. Bless.
Yeah, we give thanks. Really and truly.
That's all right. Floyd, Empress Trisha, we have any other feedback from the live stream, Empress?
While Empress do our surfing and come and bring back to I and I. What is it in death that we fear? You know, we're on the topic of mortality. What is it that we fear? Is it because, you know, I have heard it said by sages that the people that fear death the most is the people that are not in line with the divine cosmos. Do them see that as a valid statement, or do them have a greater clarity can give I? You know, I want to ask that question while I have people like Daniel Priest Knuckles on the platform, and Priest Snappy and Priest Serve. You know, is that
I
a valid
agree with you, my lord. Through the chair. I agree with you.
Go ahead. What you agree with?
I agree, oh, pardon me, my lord, for the insertion, but I totally agree with what the Honorable Priest just said, because if you know from whence you came, you know where you are going. But if you cannot, if you are in doubt from whence you came, your existence, you are always gonna be in doubt of your transit, your journey.
Yes,
My
my
Lord
Lord.
and Empress.
Give
To the
thanks on
chair.
everything. Yes,
And
my Lord.
we've been taught, miseducated in where you go. So that if you know that you have not lived a clean life with the Creator, then you have to start afraid now, say you go to hell, go burn in a fire. So that is the only thing I could have said, that them are fear. Once you're in alignment with the divine within, you have people, elder people, and I know of people that them tell you, say, them ready to go.
I'm ready
It's
to
not
go.
it's not a fear thing. Them know them going into the oneness of the Creator. You understand? It's the ones them that have problem with how they have lived. That is I'm an interpretation of it still. You know? A fear, where are they going to end up? Are they going to heaven or going to hell? Eh? My Lord.
My Lord. So
Blessed love.
blessed love.
One second, Empress Akim.
Yes.
The priest had asked a question about the live chat. I am, for all who are on the live stream, the meeting ID number to enter this reasoning is 840-0612-3131. I'll repeat the meeting ID, 840-0612-3131. The passcode is 704551. Repeating, the passcode is 704551. I have put it in the chat also. For ones who are on the live stream, you are welcome to come into the reasoning, and because a lot of craziness is going on. So I'm getting ready to shut down the live stream, and we will continue reasoning because we still do have some time.
Yeah.
So I wanted to let ones know that I'll be shutting down the live stream in about 2 minutes. And if you have questions, concern, if you think there's anything that you feel that ones are not saying that you may agree with, or you have further knowledge on anything, please feel free to come forward on the platform so that we can reason it out. I'll repeat again, meeting ID number 940-0612-3131. Passcode 704551. My Lord and Empress. Blessed.
And to add to that quickly, all are welcome. This is not restricted to anyone, whether you are Ras, whether you are Bobo, as long as you are a seeker of truth, and you know that is principle that governs this platform. We respect everyone and we respect everyone's right to have an opinion, and we ask for everyone to, in interacting in the conversation, to be courteous, to be patient, to be tolerant. Give thanks.
We do have 11 ones online right now.
Okay.
My
So,
Lord.
could you be more specific, Empress? Why, if there's something, sorry, Honorable Chair, I don't mean to usurp your position. I just want to ask the Empress a question. Is there a specific reason why you seek to close it down? Is it the time constraints that we are trying to live to, or did something happen that?
Some ones are just going back and forth with some little things that between themselves that I don't quite understand, and then so.
Okay, we trust
Well,
you. We trust your
Well,
decision.
what we will say to this is the good always suffering for the bad. The ones on the live stream, since there's 11 people or however much you say, those are who are truly there to gain some knowledge or to partake in the discussion. See, if it's hard to shut it down and shut them out. We would ask the ones that are bickering and the ones that are going back and forth with whatever rhetoric,
Stop it.
to cease that family. That's benefiting no one. See, we all have the right to an opinion. Our understanding is not going to be at the same level at the same time all the time. Let us come with an open mind and be tolerant of one another. See, the simplest statement that you might think is stupid might be the eureka for somebody else.
That's all
So
right.
let us just embrace each other and be tolerant of each other's level of understanding. Blessed Lord.
We are appealing to the garden of flesh, Majesty. Yes, my Lord and Empress. So, Empress, if you had no questions. Okay.
No, my Lord.
Okay. Give thanks, Honorable Empress, our royal tech.
Royal Chair.
My Lord.
Oh, blessed love, a voice that we haven't heard for a moment. Welcome,
Yes.
welcome, Priest Alam.
True, my Lord. Give thanks, Give thanks to the Council of Elders, Give thanks to the mighty gathering and the continuance. I was listening and the immortality and immortality. And I remember Henrietta Lacks, spelled with a Lacks.
Mm-hmm.
She had cervical cancer, and they take some of her cells and put them in a laboratory without her permission. And up to this day, those cells have been rejuvenating themselves. That's what they've been using for the vaccine and for healing a lot of things. So this is a Black woman's cells who was taken for her cervical cancer, and up to this day, multiply themselves over and over. So
And family,
that's showing
if you don't understand what he's talking about that's what them call the stem cell. Whatever you want to call it. Procedure.
Research.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so from the time they take our cells, those cells have still been rejuvenating in a laboratory. And they never had find that before. So that's immortality right there. In flesh.
I don't know if you were on earlier. I don't know if you were on earlier, Honorable Priest, but I think one of the sweetest and clearest clarity given on that aspect of the reasoning was given by the Honorable Priest Sevens. Yeah, he kind of laid it out very simple. You understand? We are in fear of the unknown. And the only reason it is unknown to us is because they did what they did to us. prior to them doing what they did to us, those knowledge were common. It was part of what we call as Africans our sacred sciences. See, transitioning, is something that we prepared for. We can criticize Egypt as much as we love to criticize Egypt because of our religiosity and religious understanding. But one of the culture of Egypt was to prepare even your resting place that you were going to be laid away in years before you even was thinking of transitioning. See, I and Mama Lily had this discussion because it's something that Mama Lily embraced and she has done. She has already provided her spot where she is to be laid away and all of that without fear. And she didn't do it thinking that she's going to need it tomorrow either. She don't know when she's going to need it. But she know that it is part of the inevitable. See? So it's best to prepare for it. And I will end with this. Not only prepare for where you're going to be laid away, but you see, if you're prepared for the inevitable by how you live, then when that time gets close and come, you don't have the fear. You will walk away into eternity peacefully and with content. But you see, anytime we don't live because it's our living prepare us for the future, It's our work, so we live. Now, not all you individually, selfishly provide for yourself and make yourself comfortable and seek for all the good things. That is all right. But the greatest thing is to be your brothers and sisters keeper. So in seeking for your well-being, also have their well-being in mind simultaneously. Blessed love.
Yes, my Lord. Yes.
To the chair.
Yes,
Pretty. And just to add to what you just said, Priest, one of the things that we as a people don't do either, and this is kind of going in topic but a little further, is that we don't leave our last will and testament, because we would not want, if one of I and I transition, that our family members, put up in the spaces where we know we don't want to be. So that is something else that we need to begin to, in your own individual spaces, focus on letting ones know exactly how and what your requests are. My Lord and Empress, blessed.
I'm glad you said that to Empress because our sister in here in Jamaica is fairly known among the conscious community here. Passed away a little time ago. And I didn't get a chance to attend her send off, but my sister was telling me about it. And she said that, that she designed everything that happened on that day of her send off, from where them there to rest and everything, the whole ceremony, hymn song, everything. She laid out all of that prior to the moment. Yeah. So people did not, it was very simple for them. Just perform her will, her request, or her requirements, and she, and that way her spirit is at peace because she got everything that she requested. If she wanted a specific song or hymn or whatever it was she wanted, it was done. See, it's a process that we should look at. See, the man says it's best to prepare for the inevitable than to try to run away from it, knowing that the word speaks to what it is. It's inevitable. Blessed.
To the chair.
My Lord.
Blessed love, greetings, family.
Honorable Priest German, Majesty bless.
Yes, my Lord and Empress, give thanks yet another day. A reasonment, Yes, something else I want to add to the reasonment same way too. It's all been said, real good and everything. And, something else, like I say, the financial aspect of one passing, that is something else that needs to be also put into recognition or even reasoning because funerals are not cheap as one know. You know what I mean? Whether you're going to buy casket or cremation or however you plan your thing to go, You know what I mean? It ain't going to be cheap. And sometimes we just see we left scrambling, you know what I mean, to even get funds for ones and ones, you know, burial, so to speak. Yeah, so that's another preparation we need to make, you know what I mean, before we transition is the financial aspect of it and not leaving a burden for ones and ones. So I really don't want to sound like a life insurance promoter, but yeah, that is something we have to really look into. Life insurance, you know what I mean? And yeah, actually getting that part taken care of. Another thing I want to add saying with too, you know, when I was in Antigua, you know, they had a place there, you know, one of the brethren them was showing me that the slaves them used to actually go and commit suicide rather than face the harsh, you know, penalties of slavery, what they was going through in Antigua. You know, and Antigua is a place really don't have mountains, you know, so there wasn't really no whole heap of place you could hide. You understand? And through them people knowledge of, you know, what that is, they really never fear jumping into the ocean because the place where, you know, they used to jump off, they used to tell themselves they're going back home. You understand? And in no shape or form, when I look at that place, when you jump, is just pure, rugged rocks and, you know, the current down there is turmoil and is no way you could swim out of that. You know what I mean? But then people know they was transitioning to another plane where they would be home and not have to face that harsh reality within flesh, you know?
Yeah.
And also, when I really analyze it, you know, even on the boats coming over, and I think that's why they came up with the insurance companies to try and insure these slaves, because if we had our own way, we would actually jump overboard like they was doing. You understand me? But they had to contain them with chains and shackles and, you know what I mean? Because they knew that, look, we don't have to face this, you know, because they understood and respected what transition our ones called death. You know, even in Mexico, when I was in Mexico, you know, it's good to travel same way too. Those, the Mayan people, they understood the afterlife to the fact that they would play a game and the strongest individual who won the game would be sacrificed. Not the loser, the winner. The strongest individual would be sacrificed. Anyway, I will leave it there for now, my Lord and Empress.
My Lord. That's stuff all right. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Food for thought, man. That food for thought.
Now, this phase, give me liberty or give me death. It was affirmed to Thomas Jefferson, who was in Philadelphia, where you see the 4th of July here, and they signed the Declaration of Independence. But Thomas Jefferson had an enslaved youth right next to him. I forget what the man's name. He was the personal slave. So what do you mean? And then when they say, we the people, by the people, for the people, that black man wasn't included. They show you say the hypocrisy of all of that founding fathers thing. But you could see where them kind of phrases come from though. When you hear what the honorable priest say, that is give me liberty or give me death. When they jump over the ship in the middle passage there, that is give me liberty or give me death. You know? So they build up and offer with misery. That's why it's going to be judgment. You know, say it. My Lord and Empress, floor is open.
Honorable Chair.
My Lord.
Yeah, I think that there was Toussaint who said that same way.
Okay.
Toussaint Louverture. You see? And over in the island of St. John, the slave them do that too. It's up to there, you could see the blood on the rocks where they jump over.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
But on that note, that's still right. He had an empress, a Rastafari empress of Asanya, elder. She buried in the 10th of this month. Her name was Angela Sheen. And few days before she passed on, I had gone, she lived in the same area where my children and mother live. So I'd gone by my children and mother house there. And the elder lady, the elder Rasta woman, came out. And she said, I was in my bed, but I heard you was out here. So I had to come out. And the Empress come and give me a lot of honors, and I honor her forward. And she was telling me, how much she loved me and how long we've been trotting in Rastafari. And she tell me, well, you have always been my priest. You have always make sure all the documents when they camp, every time a document come out, you used to make sure you bring me a copy. And she was just honoring me so greatly, you know what I'm saying? And I was just giving her back the honors, giving her thanks, for the time she tried. She was like 80 something years old. And not too long after that, I would say a couple of days, she transitioned. So it was like she was letting me know.
Yeah.
And when I get to talk to her son and her sister, they tell me it's 95 people she called and tell them how much she loved them and everything. And like she knew.
Yes,
And she went in a peaceful transition. She didn't, she had no fear. The last word she gave me was, I was in my bed and I'm going back into my bed to rest.
Rastafari.
But I had to sleep before I got to rest.
Rastafari. Yes,
True.
Thanks for sharing on
I
that.
know.
Yeah, my lord.
Oh, my lord.
Pity we just pick it up after the fact, eh? You have to be
Well, it happened to me at time. He had a brother here, we do call him African, but here I think he was born in the States and his parents them take him to Africa, Israel when he was young. So we do call him an African. But one day he explained to me, and I did share this with the council before, that his mother was a woman that was there with Marcus Garvey. So I tell him one of these days I'd like to meet his mother. And right now in St. Croix, he got a tree here that has bear a lot of yellow flowers. He got a season when that tree does bloom. A bright
rainy
yellow.
Rainy season.
Yeah.
Like the pui.
Okay. Well, that day I see in the flowers and I did downtown, and the area where she lived was right downtown by the graveyard. I decided, well, I'm gonna pick some of these flowers now. And I got to meet this woman. So I picked these flowers, meet her son, and tell him, well, I come to meet his mother. So he take me downstairs to his mother. And as I reach in the room, I bow down to her and I start to honor her and give her thanks for her. Because I know, as far as I have read, that the woman them is who used to be paying the rent for the buildings and stuff. Like the man them kind of used to stay out of it. And the woman them was up front with Marcus Garvey. So I was giving her the honor and giving her thanks, that she was there defending us even before some of us were even born.
Yes,
And I bowed down. I went down on the ground to her. And I honor her as a goddess, a mother, a queen. And the woman looked at me and said, how you know my favorite color? And she showed me her cotton. And her cotton was the same color as the flowers. So I tell her I didn't know, but I just felt the spirit and I come just to give her the honors, And she tell me if I notice how she's dressing, she's facing the east. I start to talk to her about Marcus Garvey. She said, you notice how my bed is, I'm facing the east, you know. So I just greatly honor her and give her thanks for all the powers, you know, that they bestowed on us before some of us were even born, and for cutting and clearing the way. And not too long after that, the Empress passed on. So I said, it was just the Almighty who lead me that day to go honor her before she make a transition. Yeah.
Rastafari.
My
Give
lad is 43, and that means to say we'd like bring it down by 4 o'clock. You know, if anybody have any objection, they can speak. But we don't want it to be too long, so we have nothing.
Yes, my lord.
So the floor is open, you know, for the next.
For final comments, everyone can come around, run around. Final comments as we wrap up.
Priest Earl is still there, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Priest Earl,
Royal Chair.
you will bring it down, give us the honors of closing it. Okay, my lad?
All right,
Royal Empress.
Yes, I wanted to respond to your question, Priest Rasavana, in that you asked, why do ones fear death? And you what is it about death that ones have issues with? And you said, you took the words right out of our meditation, and that is fear. But I wanted to the fear of the unknown, but I also wanted to expound on that fear, that the fear of death actually has a negative effect on how ones live, you know, because ones are faced with Priest Germain mentioned something about what is it, life insurance and life insurance policies, and you know, all these stories that you hear that's going on in the media about how one's there's so much that goes on about that is discussed around life insurance, and how ones take out life insurance policies on people. There's so many negative connotations when dealing with the thought of death, and even to this aspect as well. And I don't know if men deal with this at all like women do, but even with the aging of the process of aging, you know, in these times you can ask, and maybe not for ones who are conscious, of course, because we look at aging as a beautiful process. But when you look at the effects that women have with body modifications, all these products that are created to make ones think that you can reverse aging and you can avoid death, and retinol, and you know, instead of teaching ones about how to have a natural progressive healthy life through food and things of that nature, it's just that we may have this discussion about the process of helping one's transition and how we deal with their bodies, but even in the living, you know, one's living, there is there's just a bad connotation about death, and so ones are like trying to avoid it, you know what I mean? And so I just wanted to lift that up, because it affects us either way. It affects the living, where ones don't really have a quality of life because you're fearing death in the process. You know, you look at aging, ones look at aging as a negative thing. And when I think about Africans and the longevity of life, one's living naturally these days till in their hundreds, and that it's okay for your skin to change, where your skin may have been youthful and perky, you know, now it's sagging, or, you know, think about the products that are killing ones, you know, your hair is green and you want to run from your hair green, so now you're using all these products to keep it dyed and all of these things. And so I just wanted to lift that up, that if we have a negative meditation around death, it also affects how we live. Give thanks.
True.
Yeah. And I appreciate it.
It's thanks to bring up that connotation, because what I was thinking, so the fear of death mostly is the painful deaths that we think about, the painful deaths that we witness.
The journey.
That is what yeah. Not the journey, not the ancestral journey.
No, the journey. That
Yeah,
walk into the door.
yeah. Now, but as the brethren now say, and I have heard too, it's a whole lot of people that didn't walk that way. Some people went peacefully, right?
Yes, man.
Everyone suffer with all of these sickness and diseases and that. And that is something we could take into consideration too. You know, it doesn't have to go that way. You know,
Rastafari.
yeah. So we could look into that. And the last thing I want to say too, this is a matter of just having moral standards. You know, when it comes to sending off ones and giving
Yes.
respect onto patriarch.
Yes,
This
man.
is just a natural. Give thanks
Natural.
for the council giving the clarity and the information, but there are some of us that just don't have the same moral standards.
My Lord. Bottom
So they
line.
are, yeah, so they are not going to accept certain thing, and they are going to be as perverse as they can and cantankerous. You see it? So it is a matter of building up character, moral standards, right?
My
Just the
Lord.
natural, what is naturally right. You see it? Yeah, it's not just to say, well, it's a culture thing or the church thing, or you
Yeah, or a
see,
bobo thing. Yeah.
it's just naturally, morally
Yes.
right that every human being
Natural.
should understand. My Lord and
My
my
Lord. Give thanks,
Through the chair,
praise.
man.
To the
Through the chair. I
chair.
want
All
one quick
right.
moment, Mama Mary. One quick moment.
Hold
You
the
see that
thought,
that
Mama Maisie.
you see this thing about when you have one go say, well, I'm not going to be here. I not gonna know nothing when that happens. So you
Yeah,
can do
yeah, yeah,
anything,
yeah.
and that is not the African way.
No.
Even after the life, remember, is man and God, is man and woman, is God and goddess. So the temple that you have houses the God,
The holy
and
temple.
houses the God. Yeah, so that's why the thing, that's why this thing about, how we define the female monthly and pollution and all these things and the way we word things. It is conflicting. That's what that 15-year-old child that was speaking with Honorable Priest Dada expressed one time. He said the religious world have too much inconsistencies. It's always conflicting because you can't say the mother of creation, but the mother of creation still, you use some negative words and outlooks at a natural process to define the divine feminine energy. And that is just one point. The temple itself, even though the spirit has left, for the moment, while that temple is above ground or within a natural space and it has not been put to where it's going to be eternally housed, respect is still due to that temple.
Natural.
So these things, these kind of ways that we have been taught, those are Babylonian ways. Those are what we call barbaric and savage ways. They are not the ways of Zion. Those are not Zion ways. Those are not the teaching of our ancestors. Our ancestral realm as Africans, the ancestral realm is the Zion. That is the Zion, that we round here so talk of, in the West from our Western understanding. The Zion is the ancestral realm. That is where the energy, whether you want to call it the spirit or the life force, that is where it abides. You understand? That's the utopian space that we speak of. And we call it Heaven Zion, many names in different cultures. Bless the love, family.
My Lord. Empress Maisie.
Yeah, Majesty, but I just want to say give thanks to the teaching, man, because great teaching go through with this topic here today. But I just want to add into, you say if he's a good person, a loving person, a kind person, you know, have your dogmatic spirit and your spirit just calm and gentle, and thing. You see, the way you die, you just die calm and peaceful. Cause my mom was lying there and nobody know when she left. She never, there was no sound from her to let my sister know that she was gone. Right? She just take time, travel away, calm, smooth, and everything. So for me, as I said, it's just the way you live on earth, the kind of person, the manifestation of your life. If you're ignorant and dark and illiterate and cussy and rare, when you're gonna find struggling before you go. But you say if it's a humble, kind, loving, peaceful, that's your transition you're gonna have. So today, I give thanks to all who reason. There's a learning in everybody language today as you reason about death and what is death and or your anger death and whatever. So I do give thanks, honorable family, and give thanks again for the councils of elders and its great teaching. Have a beautiful week, my Lord and Empress, until we meet again. Peace, love, and joy. Blessed love. One and all.
Let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food, family. Let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. Preventative measures in life. Bad habits are hard to break. Bad habits, is what really is one of our main demise. See, because we have adopt bad habits, bad eating habits, you know, even in the timing of eating, when we eat what, the combination of what we eat, not purging, not getting our regular purge to detox, both blood and um your bowels, your lower intestines. We need to purge. See, purge, just like how we need to purge the mind of evil thoughts and evil, meditation. The body has to be purged of toxins, you know, your all areas of your body, your urinary tract, your blood, your bowels, all of that needs to be detoxed. So if we practice preventative medicine, yeah, our father knew what he was doing, when he introduced us to single Bible, what we used to call hyssop. See, it's a weekly thing we used to do, beat it, growing up on Wednesday or Thursday, you beat your hyssop and you take it. Because it's a constant, and hyssop is a thing that it's a miracle plant. It purges both your blood and your lower intestines. It's not just a one, like you take wash out and the wash out just purges out your intestines. Hyssop, and at the same time that it is doing that purging, it's also leaving elements in your body that is helping your body to build. So yeah, these are some of the things we have to keep in mind, because we're all gonna trod one day, but we want to trod, like Mama Maisie said, peaceful. Not hook up to some machine, not laying on our back for months or weeks or years, seeing being a burden to others. Them have to do everything for us, and feeling less of yourself, because when them things they happen, you feel less of yourself. When you're not able to go to the bathroom on your own, to brush your own teeth and to do the things that you're used to doing as an individual, it makes you feel less. And nobody wants to feel less. We want to feel the greatest we can feel. So if we continue to remain healthy until the organs can't pump no more, until the chromosomes them stop separate and rejuvenate, see, then we just trot out in a peaceful manner back to the source of our origin. Blessed love, family.
My Lord and Majesty.
Prior chair.
Yeah, praise.
Yeah, I know. See, I'm going to get the Sheila road, but I just want to make a statement here, because when my father was making his move, I get up in the morning up on the vineyard and I had my reason, and the reason, to him say me that go help me with a vehicle. And, me and my reason, I said that no really matter, me just want me to live Irie and things like that, because to Rastafari and them never really accept Rastafari in the way as though they should. They come like me and him, they kind of a little conflicting. So that morning when him had tried, I and him was reasoning, and as I come out of the vineyard now, someone said, me have something to tell you. But them are itch, and I said, tell me, man. And them I say, your father tried. And, it was just about 15 minutes or half an hour was reasoning spiritually. So, this tradition you were speaking about today, it is not the first time nor the second time because it's a circle. So we go through this transition more than one time. We are here reasoning at this moment. It is not one time, although it said the first death and the second death have no power, like it is only one time. But we went through this already, man. That's why you find say you have some youth right now coming and speaking of how them that lived before. And, these youth are young youth, like 3-year-old, 4-year-old, you know what I mean, and speaking positively. So, we see even Christ tried. Christ would make a lot of tried, when I'm missing from 12-year-old, him even went to Tibet and all of these places. And you can see that when the Dalai Lama making his transition before he do that. Him get some youth, round him before me even tried and see if, these youth are, is, replacement. You know what I mean? Because, even when him tried also, them have some youth now where, cause life have to come forward to manifest in our flesh, So when we are still speaking about the ancestors still all the while come forward, come manifest in flesh. That's why no one look upon also our father, King Emmanuel, as Menelik. You see, because if you take the time when Menelik transcend, is that time the father speaking about 1913, 1914. You see that moment, him come forward in our flesh. You see? So at all time, my lord, I just said people them where the transcend, are here reasoning. Not for us maybe don't accept, what is going on to the religious Christianity, where they afraid we up pandit and afraid up our vision, as the honorable priest Knuckles would have said. Because not for the time we get the vision and speaking to the ancestors, just like Samuel, because Samuel did it. You know what I mean? Speaking to the ancestors and things like that. So it's something we would do all the while. I speak to the ancestors, and sometimes them, if them catch you, that if you know where them carry you all hospital, but you could all get a little truck too. And at that time you come out of yourself now because they must say something wrong with you. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
one perfect.
My Lord. We give thanks for the reason today and today. Say it was a important topic seeing that it is in our midst. So we glorify each and every one input. Now, couple of things before I request it to priest Earl.
We can't hear you, my lord.
Yeah, couple of things before me get to priest Earl. Now, in Trinidad here, them have the service for the brethren for Thursday. Now, them would have want me carry it up, but make sure them say, well, here what? The Sabbath could be the powerhouse, the building, because it's not like a football game. You just go and play a game. So if you carry up a transition service Thursday and you don't go on Sabbath Saturday to really build yourself, the science they're not adding up. It come like you don't really see the science in the trial. So to the way how they're moving, I dread would not be taking part of the transition with the brethren. So them might try to use I and I as an
Yeah, man.
escapist.
Yeah.
So, That we are defend. One thing always was a mystery to me, even from a little youth days going to church. How come when the daughters and them went and see the stone move from the tomb, and them say, "Where is my lad?" And he say, "He's not here." And when they look out, they see a supposedly gardener. And them ask him, "What me see my lad?" And they come and take him over. And the gardener reason with them and I show them. And then they reach a point where the gardener make a right and them and make a left, go back by the rest of the disciples. And when him gone, at them time they say, "But wait, being a here with that man, they was it come like it was the man. So how come in 3 days they couldn't recognize the man physically?" Remember all this time you had trouble with the man, you know. And him go down and him come up now and you know recognize the flesh. It's something always kind of hard to explain from a literal point of view, you know. So we see the God in all flesh. That's the best we could have put it. You know, see, but they did not recognize the man when he first rise up. That when they fully see man go to touch him and say, "Touch not until I have ascended to my Father." That kind of a teachment. So there's food for thought. You know, give thanks for the reason, my Lord and Empress. You know, these are some of the things what we see facing us, which we couldn't run and hide. We just have to stand up man for the and woman for the. And we see when we looking at ourselves, Jah give us the answers. Jah fortify us so that we can deal with these situations. So again,
To the
give thanks
chair,
again, my Lord and
just
Empress. Yes,
just to
please.
say when we come again, someone might not recognize us same way, you know.
Selassie,
Right.
Rastafari. And I will pray. And I will praise Earl, my Lord, you can bless us with the closing of today's reasoning.
Honorable Chair, one moment there before you go.
Yeah, my Lord.
I was going to say that right now we recognize each other as living souls that have been here before, for we find ourselves back in the spirituality right here, right now. So I and I the same people who've been here before.
From them times, eh?
Yeah, so we don't have to fear death because what we made from does never die.
Rastafari.
Is eternal. And if a woman with cervical cancer, they could take her cells without her consent, and those cells are still in the laboratory rejuvenating this same hour. Because that's one of the cells them that they use for the vaccine and for all kind of cancer research. Is Harrietta Lacks. Anyone could go and look it up on the internet. Her name is Harrietta Lacks. Lacks is Lacks. So imagine a woman with cervical cancer and her cells up to this day are still rejuvenated in a laboratory.
Yes, and to add to that, another priest. To add to that, remember that if you get a little contaminated and they have to go check the family. And so the family didn't know what was going on. Because
exactly.
Yeah, it get a little contaminated. So they have to seek the family now and warn forward those samples. And so the family kind of get to know what was going on. And a little lawsuit even come up. I don't know what they do out of that.
Yeah, they did get paid. But what it was they were studying the family also and asking them certain questions. Because through their mother cells doing that, they wanted to get cells from them to test them too. Yeah, but you're right on that. That's how they get to find out. Sila, Selassie. Yeah. Rastafari.
Yes, please, sir.
Yes, Royal Family do give thanks enough for such beautiful gathering. You know what I mean? As the man said, many are called. But give thanks to I and I, the chosen few, as I and I call for a virtual reverence, universally, internationally, my Lord and Empress. The whole How good and how pleasant it is for us, brethren and sisters, to dwell together in unity and in love. It is like the precious ointment that is upon the head that run down upon the beard, even here and there that went down upon the skirt of his garment, as the dew for a man, and as the dew that ascend upon the mountain of Zion. For here Rastafari command the blessing, even life and love forevermore. So hail our God, Selassie, Jehovah God, Rastafari. Our Almighty God, the Rastafari, great and terrible God, the Rastafari, is the Almighty God. Jah who seated in Zion and reigned the hearts of all flesh. How thou most high, eternal Father, Jehovah God, the Rastafari. Hear us and bless us, O Lord, keep and sanctify us all. Cause thy holy face to shine upon us, thy children, that we shall be saved and redeemed. How thou most high God, Rastafari. Give thanks, that this robe of flesh I drop and rise, that I and I could be here reasoning one to another amongst I and thyself, Holy Emmanuel, I.
Selassie.
Rastafari. One perfect love, royal God, John Goddess. To keep it black and beautiful as usual.
Rastafari. Hold it up, honorable. Each and every one. God bless.
Yes, my Lord and Empress. Blessed be the
Yes.
tide, Give thanks.
Blessed be the tide.